everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Pro Crastinators podcast. I'm the best guy ever, and today we've got Hypocrite.
I've got the Oscar fever. Hope you got it too.
We've got Tom Oliver.
My brain is full of blood, and all I do
Ew,
is seek
ew,
blood.
Ew.
Get that blood out of there, Ben Saint.
Get that brain out of here. That's so fucking nasty, man. That's so fucking nasty.
Munchie
I
is
agree.
present.
Hi guys, hope you're ready for some comedy gold on this podcast where I'll be exclusively quoting The Loco Bandito by Mike Matei.
Yeah, that's a rich
Holy
bounty
shit,
there.
says a Loco Bandito.
And, of course, Endless Jess is here.
Hey, it's me. I'm laying on my bed like a teen girl in a sleepover. I'm gonna lay down on my tummy with my feet in the air.
Nice.
Is that what was sleepovers like?
Yeah,
I never went to one. And I always wanted to go to a little girl's sleepover, a
Surely you've been
little
to a-
teeny bopper bitch.
You've been to a homoerotic male sleepover though, surely, correct?
Well, I mean, of course.
Okay,
I
they
mean,
invented the homoerotic male sleepover.
I grew up straight.
I had a pretty homoerotic male sleepover, but with one guy, and he just slept in my bed, but with like with his feet near my head and my head near his feet.
Whoa.
Oh, so for
The
the
genitals
69
still
position,
lining.
right.
Hey,
We were like 10. We didn't even understand what was weird about it.
We
And
didn't
then I
even
was like,
have dicks back then.
I got a funny story. That happened just yesterday. So I'm hanging out with a couple of friends. I'm not going to say what their names were to protect the innocent. And it's friend A and friend B. And they have
never been this cautious before in your entire life.
Shut
Every other
up.
story you've said they're like their full name.
Well, I don't know. There's a mild chance that one of these three people might actually hear the show. So that would be embarrassing. But it was really funny because there's friend A, friend B, and they have a mutual friend, friend C, who's not there. Friend B is like, hey, A, so yeah, you know, friend C, yeah, it was really obvious when I met him that he was like into me in like a gay way. And friend A is like aghast. He's like, no, dude, no. Friend C is absolutely not gay. He's like my best friend. He's totally not gay. That's totally impossible. I mean, look, I know he's fucked around with. Shut up. I know he's fucked some guys before, right? But it's always been in like a straight way, right? Like it's always. This is not a joke. He literally said, like, I know he's fucked guys, but in like a heterosexual way.
This gets down to the fundamental. I believe that there is a heterosexual way to fuck a man.
Well,
and
there's
that
not.
Way,
You and
there
fucking
is,
you and fucking friend A, get the fuck out of here.
No, okay, listen. I doubt that's what happened in this
Preferably
situation.
together.
Here's a real situation. You're at a glory hole. You get your dick sucked. Turns out it was a guy. That was a sexual
How does
encounter.
Okay, well, that's not
gay?
what-
Did
Your
not know.
intention doesn't matter.
That's not.
No,
what
intention is everything.
No, of
intention
course
is
intention
everything.
matters. Of course intention matters. But
Yeah,
like,
intention
that's not what
matters.
we're-
Fact.
But no. That was a gay act, but you were not being
see,
gay.
Munchie, you're insane.
That's
Of
the thing.
course intent matters.
There is a distinction between, I had this argument with Michelle just the other day. It's that the act itself you could call gay, sex between two men, but to call the individual gay depends on their intention, I would say.
If someone has fucked dudes multiple times, though, you only get so many get-out-of-jail-free cards in my book.
Well, at a certain point, you can doubt. If they claim that every time was an accident, then, if that's true, then I suppose that's fair. But one can doubt the credulity of these claims
all
at a
right.
certain point.
I
it's totally not
a
an
strong
accident.
opinion about all this talk of is it gay or not. All sex is just like rubbing meat parts together.
It's all fucking gay.
It's
dude.
all the
It's
same
all
shit.
fucking gay.
Fucking a woman is the same thing as fucking a guy. I'm saying it.
Oh yeah, well,
You know-
I mean, it depends how much you care about gender and sex, I suppose. In terms
Well,
of,
It just
You're
depends-
just
it depends on
slamming
what you
into
find
each
it-
other.
what
You're
you
just
find attractive.
slamming into
Well-
each other in some various twisted pretzel sort of way.
I mean, yeah.
And
Well, I mean, if
ultimately
you're gonna
you're
say-
just feeling like the hot sweaty meat action with that's what sex is.
I mean, you're just
Love the
throwing
meat
out the whole
action.
question of is it gay or not. You're saying
Yeah,
it
yeah.
doesn't matter.
You're
which
just
is
saying
fine.
you're
I mean,
you're
you know.
basically just dispensing with the whole proposition of gayness to begin with.
yeah.
Okay.
You've
I gotta
answered.
cover my angles.
Hippo has answered the GQ.
Yeah, at long last, we've been searching for it, and I realized that it's pretty much the same questions. Remember when we were arguing about like the trans bathroom debate, and then Digi's like, "Why even have separate bathrooms at all?" And I was like, "That actually makes sense. That seems like the way to go." I
don't want to poop where a girl can hear me.
Well, that's I not to make it an issue, but I actually did hear recently that like the thing about that is that sexual assaults have actually gone up in like like group gender areas where they just say everybody goes to the same bathroom. But you know what? I don't know. Maybe it's an imperfect answer.
I mean that's probably true to some extent. I just feel like the whole I don't want to poop near a girl. I mean, just because I poop away from a girl doesn't mean that girl will like me.
Mm-hmm. Well, no, that's not what it's about. I just don't want to do it. What is it about? I just don't want to do it.
I mean,
there's nothing more to it.
Perhaps if one dug deep down into the motivation behind that feeling, you'd find that it's kind of centered in these attraction dynamics of gender associations and
we could just accept that I just don't want to do it.
Ben, I'm going to take it a step further, and I don't want to poop anywhere that anyone can hear me. I don't want to be near anyone's vicinity at all.
That too, but it would be way worse if it was a girl. Let's just rip that Band-Aid off right now.
Good old Ben, the binary shall never be abolished saint.
Cisgenders only, please. That was in quotes. That's my middle nickname, Saint. Yeah.
Hey, speaking of Ben and genitals, I heard about a phenomenon recently that I'm wondering if you have any experience with, Ben, and it is the phenomenon known only as
what the fuck is
keto.
This gonna be?
It's known as keto crotch. This is the name of the phenomenon.
Well, Nate, describe it to me, and I will tell you if it speaks to my life experience.
Certainly. So it's a phenomenon where the keto diet supposedly has a onerous effect on the smell of women's crotches.
Well, then why the fuck would I have any experience?
Well, I'm wondering if perhaps there's some overlap with the male experience. I mean, we all know that Ben's odoriferous lifestyle is a thing of legend. It's now, of course, that was established long ago, but perhaps there's been some change. Perhaps it's had some kind of...
Are you saying, like, Ben probably smells like a woman now? What are you saying?
Totally overblown. Taken out of context. A few... Everyone took, like, the one time that I was at Digi's house for 3 days and
Ben,
didn't get...
naive.
And wasn't there and didn't have my own deodorant and, didn't shower because I was over someone else's house. Yeah, and so I smelled kind of bad and everyone's like, Ben smells so bad. Well, fuck you, okay? That was like a specific incident.
Okay, it's just that, Ben, in my opinion, I would say every time we have met over the last several years, were those all outliers? Because I would say that pretty much
Nate,
all of those
if you're
times,
telling me that I smelled weird every single time we've met over the last several years, then I'm just going to call you a liar right to your face.
That could be an exaggeration, but that's my general impression. Perhaps that's, not specifically... correct every single instance.
It's not. It's not correct.
Okay.
There you go.
But I mean, don't you think the fact that I have an impression says something about the
Nate.
situation?
I think you're dumb, and I think, and honestly, Nate, literally,
okay.
Listen, I know this is going to be really insulting to you, and I think honestly that the fact that it happened like the last time has like colored your perception.
But I was
of,
saying it before
time.
that. Damn it! I was saying it long before that.
I think it's also that it's funny to say it, and that's what you want to believe.
Well, there's that. It's true. This could be a biased position, but
Nate, you're like you're one of like two people that say it, and the other one is your girlfriend. And I think the two of you just think it's funny. Honestly, I think that's it.
We plot. Yeah. She is sensitive to smell, though. So I mean,
sure.
She's got quite the nose. Jesse, were you commenting on this?
I just feel celebratory, like any time that anyone is told that they smell and it's not me.
That's understandable.
Smelling bad is like my worst fear in life. It's the worst thing that can happen to a person.
I'm so mad at the foot that this episode got off to. Honestly.
Well, that's unfortunate.
You know what's the worst thing in the world?
My disappointment is immeasurable, and my day is ruined. That's all I have to say.
Mm-hmm. When you're
Jesse,
when you're in your house and you're not planning on guests and you're in your own funk and you're in your own smells and you're enjoying it, you're just living your smelly life, as a smelly person alone. And everything's fine, you know? And
that's
then
true.
someone just barges in and says, hey, it's me, you're fucking friends, and let's take you someplace out in public right now. And it's like, no, I smell bad, go away. But they don't listen. You know, they take you out, they just barge in, they throw you in a car and kidnap you, and you've been sitting there, you haven't showered in like 3 weeks because you didn't want to see anybody. You just wanted to be home and be smelly and be in peace. But no one will, so they take you out, and then it's all like, oh man, this guy fucking smells. Like, yeah, I was happily smelling bad alone, and then you took me out to a place where people will notice it. You scum.
Forget gender. I would say that scent is in fact a social construct, that we are being held to a standard, that there is it's all society that imposes this need to smell decently or even look decent.
When I'm alone and there's no one around to judge me, I love smelling bad. It's really cool and fun.
Yes, the same.
There's a certain pleasure, all right, maybe I'm crazy, there's a certain pleasure in hotboxing in your own farts in a small room when you're alone. Am I wrong here, ladies and gentlemen?
This makes me feel so much better about myself.
I'll back you up on that, Nate. I'll back you up.
The Nate facade is beginning to crack and erode away, and realizing that he's just as degenerate as the rest of us.
But I'm able to put on a social veneer when I leave, so that's the difference.
This is what happens when you don't have a job. You go from Nate to us. The mask gets crumbled.
Fair.
If I don't shower for even like 3 days, I get dandruff, and that just ruins my life. I just get dandruff and I get greasy, and so if I do that, then my life will just be ruined. It's not even like I can just like not do any do no hygiene thing, and my life will be fine. It just actually makes me feel like I am a gross potato.
Yeah,
so
I'm the same way, Munchie. I got a 3-day window tops before I'm just like, nah, this is just untenable, even for me at this point.
If there was like a comfortable way to wash your hair without getting the rest of you wet, I would like never shower again, because that's all I really care about is make sure my hair's clean.
That's
but
true.
Like, there's no way to do it. You can't pull up a chair and like lean over the sink like you're in a salon. Like, that's gay.
You know,
it's not straight.
I hate to bring up a topic from last week, but you're almost making a case for baldness right now.
Oh crap, I am. I take it all back. I've been wrong.
Let's all just shave our heads. Let's all just shave our heads for next episode. Let's all just embrace it.
Yeah, we'll be clean shaven.
You know when you get
we
your
don't use webcams, so
and you ask them to wash your hair, and then they lean you back in that like sink thing, and they wash their hair for you. I want a butler just so you can do that every day of my life.
Yeah, I really like that. I haven't done it too many times, but it's good. The one time I did have it was like, you remember when I had like hair or like really big fat, like too long, like Jesus ×2 sort of hair, and a really big beard. That was like uni days where I was like, I don't know what a haircut is. I don't know how to go to a haircut. Yeah, university days. You know what is it?
No, I know.
I say uni over in the Brit.
I'm just saying, not days as in days, but as in days. Like, where am I?
Oh, yeah.
I don't even get the distinction between college and university. Period.
I think college
in America, I think. They grant doctorates. Universities grant doctorates, I think.
There's a difference. There's a slight difference. There's some overlap in what you can get, honors, masters, whatever. That's not the point.
Uni's like better though, right? In general.
The point is, I had big hair, and I went to like my mom said, you just gotta go to a fucking salon or something. And I'm like, oh, okay. I went to the thing. There was this old guy who was into Led Zeppelin, so I could actually talk to him about something for once. And he was like, "Oh my god, you got too much hair. This is gonna be we're gonna have to take it off like in parts.
We're gonna have to amputate.
We're gonna have to take this off in parts, so that you don't like over compensate like your neck movements.
It's gonna be like a tattoo. It's gonna do it like a tattoo. Like you got to come in for multiple visits. Yeah,
it was just sort of like he did it slowly, and because like I assume he's felt this before, when if you take like so much weight off of your head, you'll feel dazed and smash your head into the wall or something stupid. But he was like really good at doing the salon stuff, and there was so much hair it almost couldn't fit in the sink. But it was really nice.
Dude, isn't it the fucking coolest shit when you go, especially, I don't know if any of you know this. I don't know if I was seen with any of you, like in real life during this time. But there was a brief period of time where I had hair down to like below my shoulders, like below like the bottom of my shoulders. It was really, really long. And you think of Munchie, you think like, oh, you know, he's got like Steven Universe kind of poofy hair. When you have ethnic wavy hair and it's long, there's no poof. It just is straight fucking like nightmare fuel. It's straight like the worst. Okay, if I could give any advice to children, it's cut your hair. There's like a psychological, like you create a real ATV field when you have long hair, and you just think you can hide behind your hair and it won't even matter. You know, I'm impenetrable. I'm so cool. It makes you
I think he means an AT field. Yeah,
an ATV field is an all-terrain vehicle field. It's just
you can go. You can go anywhere. You can ride on swamp.
Yeah,
you can go
exactly.
mudding.
You can go anywhere. You have no
Dude,
fear
you can go
of God.
mudding, finally.
You have no hubris. You have no humility. I mean, so it's not a good thing. So anyway, I had that, and I went in for a haircut one fateful day, and the amount of hair that was on just on the ground, the corpse of my hair, and I was down to a small haircut. It was I can make like an entire wig out of it. I can make maybe 2 wigs out of it. It was copious, Mats.
Cool. I just want to say, incidentally, I'm posting a link in the audio links chat. I just want to point out, I was just brought this meal by Michelle that is a poke bowl, which is like cut up fish with like this weird concoction of sauce on brown rice and a filleted fish. And it's just stupendous. And it's before me right now. I'm going to be eating it.
You think I don't know?
Your life
is
shit.
Know about
Mine
poke?
is great.
I know about poke.
I don't know. It's some island shit, Michelle.
Oh, I thought you were talking about like a Pokemon themed food, like a poke bowl.
It's made of Magikarps and Rice Chan. That's my favorite Pokemon.
That's the result of all the Magikarp jump. You have to train the perfect Magikarp, and it's ripe.
Every time you loses, every time you take a Magikarp to the championship league and it loses, you cut it up into a Poke Bowl. And then you feed it to your next one for a little experience boost. You induce the stress
by torturing it, and if it survives, that's how you get a Gyarados. All the ones that die become your food.
Hey, incidentally, like a few minutes ago, somebody mentioned Butlers. I was just thinking about this today. Here's a real question. Life sucks because what the hell happened to, like, having servants? You could be, like, middle class and have a servant back in the good old 1800s or whatever it was. What happened to that? Why don't we have servants? Mate. No, it's literally not slavery. I'm talking about like New England servants in like
it's the goddamn politicians and their goddamn raising the minimum wage agenda.
I think it might be something like that.
It's all about that
inflation. They'll pay a minimum wage. I'd be happy to pay a minimum wage for a servant, but I don't think that like exists.
Well, Nate, you can have like a person to come clean your house for like. You don't need to be fabulously wealthy to have someone do that.
In Alfred-style butler who's fiercely loyal and will keep my secrets and sit
with me
while we conspire.
Nate, I think you've stumbled upon a new market. Hear me out here. Yeah. Uber for servants.
Ooh. Ew, I don't want a gross millennial butler. They will fuck everything up. I want an old English gentleman who fought in World War II and was a fighter pilot.
You don't want one of these kids who's into the gig economy.
Butlers are men. You want a maid with a nice
I completely
booty.
agree with Jesse.
And sexual favors
well, okay, never mind. I rescind that.
That's definitely true. That's definitely true.
Kazzie's dad has a maid for his apartment, and it is like, from what I can understand, it's like the greatest investment that you can have.
Yeah,
just to not have your house dirty, and because he cooks a lot. His kitchen's completely fucked 100% of the time. Because he's making really complex shit, and just every pot and pan is all over the floor.
So she takes care of it then?
Yeah, she takes care of it. Just like all the bodies and all the people he hires her to kill.
I don't even need this now. I want this like in 10 years. So I want to prepare the market so I'm ready by the time I actually need a maid. I'm just
it's moments like this when you've realized just like you're not living real life. You know, like peasant life is just so far beneath what could be.
I don't know, man. Maids sometimes are pretty high up there. They're pretty luxurious. They're it's literally just like, I don't want to clean myself. Please do it for me.
Right, but there are people who just like they don't drive, they don't clean, like all these like grindy aspects of life are just so unknown to them, and it's just
this
what
is
the
thing.
fuck?
It seems to me like the bar has shifted. Like obviously somebody like I'm sure Jeff Bezos has people who like clean his house or whatever. So obviously that's the number one guy in the world. But like, didn't there used to be like a middle class equivalent? And sure, we've got this literal gig economy made thing, but like the classical. Person who's reliably there.
It's really just a case of like the population of the middle class has just increased. Like middle class used to be more rare than it now is.
I think it's just at some point, like what was considered middle class, like what was considered normal was like, I think maybe we like shrank that wealth gap a little bit. But good news, Nate. Good news. The wealth gap is widening again. So soon we'll have a big old underclass that can be the upper class of servants
that's interesting,
again.
Ben, because I was actually thinking about that, and I heard that the wealth gap is the widest it's ever been. Does that mean that
I don't know about it's the widest it's ever been, but it's it's widening.
I mean, considering exactly how rich Bezos may be, it could well be. I mean, it's such ridiculous wealth that guy has compared to other people. Okay, anyway, my point is maybe the issue is that the people at the bottom are being a condensed group, so that group doesn't have enough play between the top and the bottom to get that kind of maid servant culture thing going on. Because the top people, of course, can afford this kind of a thing, but it's not like wide. Okay, you know what? Never mind.
Well,
Never mind.
I
that
think,
makes sense.
Like, imagine like the middle class that if we're in that bracket, like the jobs we could do, we wouldn't become butlers for the super rich above us. But we totally could, and then we would get to be like hanging out in a really cool house a lot of the time. All we would need to do is clean up.
I was a tour guide in some of the Newport mansions, which are some of the craziest. Like they're like America royalty mansions, basically. Some of the biggest buildings in America.
It's always been interesting to me the idea that the butler is like a lower class person doing a job and stuff, but they get to live and work in a really really upper class amazing place. Yeah. And if they have a nice like employer, then it seems pretty cool and pretty great. In every aspect.
Could be worse for sure. I guess it almost reminds me of like the house Negro versus the field Negro, and how the house one would often be fiercely loyal to Massa because to protect his privileged position relative to the others, despite being a literal slave, as made famous by Django Unchained and nothing else.
I'm not sure what to make of this conversation. I can't tell. Like,
I don't know.
Like, are you guys like? I can't tell if you guys
slavery?
are talking.
Can we please? Are we
talking about this as a good thing or a bad thing or?
I mean, I wasn't thinking of slavery, but now I am.
I mean, no, we're not. That's a whole other ballgame.
I mean, obviously, we're all for that, but. I mean, I suppose, thinking backwards, if the reason for this situation, me decrying the fact that I can't easily acquire a butler, is due to a fact that the middle class has condensed and possibly, like, lowered relative to total wealth of the population, that I suppose that is a bad thing. That is not good that that's happening.
No, Nate, here's what I think. It's not that you, at your current wealth level, can't acquire a butler anymore, whereas maybe in the past you could have. It's that in the past, in those times, you would have just been poor, and someone else would have been richer, and maybe they would have hired you as a butler.
Why? What do you mean? Because I would have been like, I'm not a noble or something.
You're not high enough on the food chain to, like, if the wealth gap were to widen to the point where like servants were a thing, were seen as common for, like, quote unquote the middle class.
But consider this though, Ben,
or the average family. Like, you're not high enough on the totem pole that you'd be above the gap if it were to open again.
Like, if we just take it back, like,
if that gap were to open, that you would fall right into that chasm.
Okay, but our dad, like, is a doctor. When I think about, like, doctors in the olden days, and again, maybe they're just, like, he wouldn't have made it because, like, he didn't have the opportunity.
Were never, like, rich people. The richest people were
always
businessmen.
Enough to get a servant of some kind in, like, 1700s.
I don't agree with that. I don't think so. I think they were all, like, entrepreneurs and businessmen and people who were born into families who had that stuff already.
This is a lot of talking out of our ass. This is
I guess so.
I mean, have you been on this podcast before, Munchie? Research, informed
my
statements.
Reason for this whole conversation.
No.
I want to distribute my my energy on the most efficient things possible, and, like, doing my dishes feels like a waste of time. I would be happy to pay someone to do that, so I could spend that time doing other stuff. And that's
you can buy a dishwasher.
Works, baby.
I'm pretty sure,
like,
Nate. I'm pretty sure those. I mean, like, I mean, there were times.
I mean,
when,
call me lazy, but I just want to do more work. Is the thing. So
there were times when our dad like would hire like a maid or something to come, not on like a regular basis, but like to just come and like clean the house or whatever. Mm-hmm. And I mean, my point is those things do exist. Those jobs do exist, and people do them.
Of course they do.
Just seems like for the yes, but I want like a regular person who's there every day to do the cooking and cleaning. That and I will be happy to pay them.
That just seems inefficient because they're not gonna have to do a full house clean every single day.
You don't even need to pay for that. That's called a wife that knows her place.
Well, I mean that's fair. But like but I don't believe it's tough to control a wife. It's much easier to control an employee. So I'm happy to just use that mechanism. You're
just not malicious enough to get the control down.
That's possible.
Why control with your wallet when you can control with fear?
Fair.
Ben, I know this episode start. Oh, all right. You want to finish this conversation?
I was just gonna say.
Yeah.
If you want someone to do your dishes, you can hire someone to do your dishes.
No, wait. Have a son. I guess that's the way to do it. I think unironically having children seems like the American way.
You can never have a son.
In time.
Well, it never worked for our dad. We never did our fucking dishes.
He will use dishes and he will not wash them up, and then you'll have to wash them.
Well, that's unfortunate too, I guess. Okay.
Ben, I know you didn't like the way this podcast started out, but I've got a segue for you, free of charge, although you do owe me interest. I heard that you ripped me off, Ben. I heard that you followed in my footsteps to try and eke some of the same glory that I achieved in the Pro Crastinators podcast, and you went to a political rally.
Oh, God.
Oh, yeah?
That's right. I did.
Is that true?
Yeah, I went to a Yang rally.
That's cool.
Boy, yeah. You know, a lot happened this week, like way more than usually happens in a week for me. So like, I'm like forgetting some details. But yeah, I went to a Yang rally on Thursday, I think, and I just barely missed the chance to get a photo with the guy. I'm so pissed because I didn't think he was doing that. I didn't think I could like shake hands and take a photo with him. And I really had to pee, so I went to go find a bathroom. And then I came back, and I saw, he was fucking taking photos with people and shaking their hands. So I got in line.
Not wearing a diaper to the rally.
So I got in line, but it was too late. It was too fucking late. He was sick of us, I know.
Ben, did you see the article that I tweeted like 2 days ago?
The hologram, yes.
How he wants to use like the hologram technology to have rallies at multiple locations.
Like the Miku technology.
Yeah.
That's pretty funny. I'm not sure that's real. Like that he's really going to do that, but it would be really funny.
It would be fucking hilarious.
As long as it was marketed as like, it's not really me, guys, it's a hologram. That sounds great. That sounds fine. You know,
that's really going to appeal to the like Midwestern truckers whose jobs he's out to protect. Like that's how you get through to those people.
I have to ask you, Ben, because I want to know how similar it was to the Bernie rally. Because Bernie was. There was a lot of build up to Bernie. There was like hours of just like people warming us up, the crowd. And then Bernie came on and he just said, "I'm Bernie Sanders. Here's what I've said. Here it is again. Goodbye, America." And then he left. Was Yang, did he have any personality?
And then he left
whatsoever?
America and pledged his loyalty to Putin for once and all. Yeah.
Okay, so the Yang rally was basically like, I got there a little bit early. And I was just kind of hanging out. We were just kind of hanging out around sort of a pagoda. Munchie, actually, do you remember the place in Boston?
I know exactly the way. I saw one. I saw like just the zoomed in shot of Yang talking. I could tell exactly where it was. I know exactly where it's where we made our slime court pact that we would never acknowledge what the logo looks like.
Yeah, that's right. It's that exact one. He was standing. Well, okay. So I got there, and at some point they like got like a group of like tastefully ethnically diverse like young people to get up there with Yang signs like sort of stand as like a backdrop sort of up on the podium, just sort of looking nice. Was the
crowd just a few too many white faces out there to make everybody comfortable?
A lot of Asians, actually. A lot
of Asians and whites in Boston.
Like, there was like the crowd was like almost half Asian, I think. It was
okay.
But anyway,
how do I pick people to sit in the back?
True, but he doesn't push that. Like he almost deliberately backs off from like that. Like I mean, it's kind of like when anyone ever asks when anyone asks him about like being an Asian American running for president, he he's like, I'm not really, like that's not really.
Well, everybody knows that on the identity politics stack, Asians do not fare well because they're doing so well in America. So, but okay, fair enough. Yeah.
Whatever. But anyway, so so there's a bunch of people up there, and then this like maybe like 25 or so like girl is like she's like out, she's asking people to like crowd in around the podium, crowd in around the pagoda or whatever, like getting closer. And so we do that, and then we wait a little while, and then she gets up there and she's talking. Oh, there was one like troll guy walking around with a Kekistan flag.
That was
but he didn't. Yeah, but he didn't do anything.
That was me.
Well, I don't know if I mentioned this, but at the Burn rally, there were some Make America Great Again hatted men, and they didn't.
They were reasonably well behaved or something.
So like, what's their game? Like okay, I understand you might want to just be informed or something, and you want to show up and just hang out and see what the opposition has to say. But like then you dress up in the cosplay, and I'm like, but you don't. I
literally heard some people like pointing out the Kekistan flag guy and like talking about him, and like they knew who he was. He like went to their school, and he was just like a troll or something, and he apparently he like goes to like left-wing shit around like just to troll people. Yeah.
So like pretty lame to just like be the object of like the opposition, but to not be doing anything. Just be like, I'm here to remind you.
What should he
like,
do? Firebomb the stage?
It's the lamest thing. I mean, it's just people are empty. People have no souls. All they want to do is just be a nuisance.
You can make the same argument about everybody going to support Yang.
What
are they doing? They're just going. What the hell?
I was annoyed when I saw him, but he didn't do anything. So in the end, I was like, well, whatever, it's fine.
Sure.
What I'm thinking is like it's equivalent to like putting on a specific like anime or like pop culture T-shirt and walking around and hoping somebody will talk about it.
Okay, the thing is though, that literally defines my entire adult life. So I'm very protective.
I get that they like people do these kind of things because they think that they're trolling. But it's like, if you're just going to a place where you know you're not wanted and dressing in the cosplay specifically just to make people mad at you, then you're not really trolling, you're just a faggot.
Well, you know what it was? The reason he did the reason he did it is because those guys
of any kind. You're totally empty inside.
Sure.
It's because those guys knew who he was, right? They're like, oh, it's that guy. It's that guy who shows up to the Dem rallies with the Kekistan flag. So like, it was, He's got a reputation now. He's that guy. People know him as that guy.
Having like a reputation of like, that famous guy who doesn't.
Oh yeah, everyone knows that guy, the Kekistan guy. Yeah.
We all sure hate that guy.
We all sure hate that guy, but damn if we don't respect that guy.
The way to Steelman, the most charitable interpretation is maybe he is here to like literally in his own way politically advocate for whatever he, I don't know, the left is silly or something. I don't know.
I guess maybe. It's fine.
I'm sure
either way, it's fine. It's all fine.
Yeah, okay.
It's all good, man.
Maybe if they see the Kekistan flag, maybe they'll realize that their policies are stupid. Maybe if they see this funny meme, then they'll understand.
You could argue that about every individual action anyone takes in a political space. So,
but
it's about
the way the rally went, right? Like that like young woman talked for a little while. She just, I don't even remember what she said. It was like inconsequential. She was like sort of hyping the crowd up a little bit. Then like this I'm just gonna say it. I'm just gonna say the F word. Fat woman. This fat woman. She came up on the podium and
she's still fat, Ben. She's still fat.
Okay, whatever. She was like, she runs like the local like Yang Gang like chapter meetups or something, and she was like, she sort of introduced that and her organization. Oh, and they were hyping up They were hyping up that Yang was going to be on like a CNN thing, like right before Game of Thrones.
Which is tonight, by the way. First
episode. Oh shit!
Okay, then maybe before Game of Thrones, tune in an hour early and see Yang on CNN.
Tune in like 5 days ago.
They were pushing the thing like share the Yang CNN thing and like organize Game of Thrones watch parties, but like start them an hour early and like get people to like or like have a sort of a combine, have a Yang viewing, combine it with your Game of Thrones
Gang of Thrones,
and then hashtag it, tweet about it, invite everyone. That was sort of part of how they were promoting it.
Is being a fat woman and being in political actions like that, is that the left-wing equivalent of running around with a Kyrgyzstan flag? Like, it seems like the same thing.
To take the meanest possible interpretation of politically active fat people, they were not able to master their own physical self, and so they're God. We'll fix society. That will fix my life for me.
Right. It's like that Simpsons image.
You could say that about anything a fat person does. You could say that about anything a fat person does.
Totally uncharitable, totally unfair.
Very mean. It was all for the memes.
But anyway, so she talked, and then she introduced some guy who I had never heard of, but who was a business guy, ?
Donald Trump? Don't know that guy.
No. Yeah. He had known Yang for a while, and he got up there and he was like, yeah, we met at a wedding of a mutual friend a while ago.
And then we got married.
He told me he was running for president, and I said, you're crazy, man. Better you than me. Haha, that's my anecdote. All right, anyway, give it up for Andrew Yang. Andrew Yang comes out.
So I know Andrew Yang. He says he's running for president. That's cool. Anyway, see you later, guys.
Nice to see you. Yeah. Follow me on Instagram. So he introduced, and then it was really funny. Yang comes out, and he is sort of has maybe a little bit of a rock star affectation about him. He's wearing.
I know. I saw a clip. He's okay. Bernie's behind a podium, pounding the podium, acting like a politician, and then Yang's
destroying podiums. That's to bring out new podiums one after another as he demolishes them.
Exactly.
Yang jumps out. He's wearing. He kind of runs out on the. He's like, hey, and he's wearing this big American flag scarf around his neck, and it's sort of hanging, and it's it's kind of it's
was
a little bit cool
around, in an open mic night. It was really weird.
He's okay. I mean, he mostly just sort of repeated his normal talking points. So yeah, he didn't say anything new, but he I mean, he wasn't all stuff I'd heard before. He did a bunch of I mean, I can't remember him on the spot.
He's basically a single issue guy, so it's fair that he.
Not really. Actually, I mean, he's got
disproportionately his biggest thing.
He actually didn't emphasize the UBI that much. He mentioned it sort of in passing, but that wasn't his focus. His focus is on technology and job security and
he's speaking of the Asian crowd, so he knows they're fine for money. Don't need to emphasize.
He talked about student loan forgiveness and Medicare for all, and he mentioned the UBI, but it wasn't the thing he focused on. And he said shit at one point.
Oh,
he dropped an S-bomb. And he was just kind of jokey and sort of casual about it. And
did he come off as natural and cool, or was he stick in the mud kind of?
Or was he dumb and drool?
I guess he was pretty natural.
No. This is what happened. He's just hanging around doing his thing, being cool, and then all of a sudden,
cool. Pulls out his just being cool.
I was going to say he unbuttons his blazer, and under there is his "I'm just being cool" T-shirt.
Be like,
is that Ben Say in the crowd? Let's get him up here, ladies and gentlemen. He's just being cool, and so am I.
By the way, I want to say I was wearing my homemade or my self-made purple Yang 2020 sunset pattern T-shirt to the rail. Yeah, right. And wait, okay. So the thing about Yang, I like him a lot. I like all his policies, but there are a couple of things that he does that I kind of wish he wouldn't, and kind of think are hurting him. He has this line that he says all the time. Okay, first of all, him leaning on the math thing. I don't get the sense that he's a real okay, he's an entrepreneur and a businessman. I'm sure he knows math. I'm sure he's good at math, but. All right, I was talking to some of my other friends were there at the rally with me, and we were talking about it, and one of them said, I get the feeling, from his college photos, that Yang's not a nerdy Asian, he's presenting himself, that he's more of a cool Asian who wore leather jackets and looked good and was.
He's
tall
a crazy rich Asian, one of that crowd.
And it kind of seems maybe the whole math thing is just sort of playing into maybe a stereotype that he thinks would play better. And I don't really get the sense that he's as much of a nerd as he's like making himself out to be. And the one thing that I wish he would please stop is at the end, like this is sort of his line. He says it at the end of everything. He says the opposite of the opposite of Donald Trump is an Asian guy who likes math. And I think that is like the cringiest, stupidest line.
Yeah, that's really awful.
It's really dumb.
I get it.
I've never heard him say that. I've watched a couple things that he's done.
He said it in a couple interviews, and he said it at the end of this speech, and every time he says it, I'm like, please stop leaning on that. I know, it's like, haha, it's a joke about my ethnicity.
What happened to his other the catchphrase I've heard him say a lot is like, it's not left or right, it's forward. And I thought
he says that too.
Like something that he just said once, and then some campaign manager was like, yes, keep saying that. Say that over and over again.
Yeah.
People will love it.
The Asian thing or the left-right thing?
The Asian
Probably
thing.
both.
The opposite of Donald Trump thing.
I'm sure it plays well with a certain crowd, but I hate that crowd, and I don't want to be a part of it.
Agreed.
Again, so not I
kind of like I think his whole math thing probably plays well with like a nerdy like Reddit, like a self-proclaimed nerdy like Reddit browsing like fuck yeah science kind of crowd, and I hate them too.
I will want to say that through watching The Bachelor and The Bachelor, I've concluded that every single normal person on Earth would describe themselves as a nerd. I don't know if Yang
not
did
me.
that maliciously.
I'm post that. I'm post nerds
you're
are cool.
You're an actual nerd.
He's older than you.
You're an actual nerd. Is what I'm saying, that normies think being a nerd is like quirky and cute, and they will describe themselves as such given any opportunity to do so. You ask anyone off the street, they'll say, yeah, I'm a nerd. I've like read a book.
Yeah, no, I know.
I am so anti the watering down of the word nerd. Like, nerd should be an insult. It should be an insult. It should be the worst insult ever. If I see someone who's just totally socially incompetent, just a slobbering, like, more chins than they have, like, follicles of hair, fucking, you know, stomping down the boulevard, you know, a person who's on 4chan all day, you know, who's just shit, that's a nerd. And you should be able to say, hey, you're a fucking nerd. Without people co-opting and being like, I'm a nerd because I watch Game of Thrones. No, you're not. Exactly. You're just normal.
The words are evolving. They're just they're shifting under our feet.
Press B.
Press B to go back because we
have to. Press B to stop the evolution.
You see, dude. I'm so hyped for Shazam. Yeah, I'm such a nerd. That's my whole thing. That's like my whole thing. Basically,
that's pretty accurate. I do want to see that movie. It looks pretty good. Hey, so I went. I've done a little further research since we last spoke about Yang, and it was just that all I did, nothing incredible, was I watched like the Ben Shapiro versus Yang debate.
Yeah, I watched that too.
I haven't seen that.
That was I liked that one in particular because it was definitely adversarial, and so that was like good to see someone on the opposite side debating him. Yang came away looking pretty good overall in that. I think I probably like him more than before I watched that.
I agree.
Because he really does lean into his business side in a way that is comforting for someone like me, who's my alarm bells of just like, oh, we're just trying to like, you know, siphon money away from people who are, you know, whatever, doing better to people who will just fuck it up anyway. Which, I mean, still could happen, but I don't know. There's lots of questions about if this would work anyway. But, yeah, I don't know. So the thing about Yang and really all politicians, and I don't say this to really shit on Yang, but your description of him coming out like a rock star really makes me think about how, like, God, I hate the reality that we have, like, it's the cool kids. It is now officially the cool kids who become our leaders and politicians, when, God, I yearn for the Nixon era. I want a curmudgeonly, weird, slobbery old nerd, a fucking weirdo freak asshole. And sure, maybe Nixon was a bad guy, whatever, but I want a freak who doesn't look good on camera.
Throw over that.
Yeah.
Nate, have you seen that movie, oh God, I think it's called Frost Nixon?
It's called Stuart Little.
Hold on.
That's the interview. That's the interview, right?
Well, it's called Frost Nixon, and it's a movie that is like based on the interviews.
I saw much of it. Yes.
I watched. I think YMS recommended it, and that's why I watched it. But okay, all I want to say about that is that in that movie they like like Nixon is a pretty old man, like he's got to be like 60, but like they push the idea that Nixon is like really sexy. Like they say he's sexy. Like no, like
it is
like,
a movie, I guess. So
before. Well, it's just funny because like he's still old, but like they like I think before Nixon ever
sexy brain.
It's like before anyone sees him, before he appears on screen, like the love interests. I remember she says in like a sultry way. They're talking about like, oh, wait, we're gonna go meet Richard Nixon. You mean President Richard Nixon? You know, I hear he has the sexiest voice.
I am not a fucking.
And then in the movie, he is played by someone with like an extremely dulcet like baritone.
Well, that's a little odd. I mean, power is
but
sexy,
it doesn't sound completely unlike him. So like, it doesn't. It sort of works. They sort of pull it off. But like in hindsight, you're like, boy, that was really weird. They sold me on this idea that Nixon was like the sexy guy.
And you know what? Maybe I didn't live through the Nixon era, obviously, but like maybe I'm being sold in the complete opposite direction, that he is in fact like a weird old troll. But that's what I've come to understand. But my point is, like, I want academics and like scientists and like smart people like that. It's just that those people are too busy actually doing things.
I don't think a scientist has ever been the president.
No,
I don't think
a general is not
like
a
real
choice.
academic has never been the president.
I think like Eisenhower made a lot of sense. Like World War II, leader or whatever, and I think he went on to become president. That seemed like a pretty good choice to me. That guy knows what's up on like the world stage and whatnot. This like, I don't know, businessman, like Wall Street stuff, I don't know. Obama was okay, I guess, as like a pick.
Really
I don't know. I want someone who's like a real old fuck who just knows shit.
Yeah, I want we elect an old fuck for president.
Yeah, and not
make that
Trump
a shirt.
line.
Make that a shirt, just like the American flag in the background, and like an old 2020, an old fuck for president.
And specifically not one who's been in nothing but politics. I want like a general. I feel like generals are a good choice.
I don't want a
military guy
liked by anyone. Because as soon as a candidate is liked by
I
people,
agree.
then they have a group. And once they have a group, that's when, groups breed stupidity. I want a president to get in somehow with no votes. I want him to just take over. I want him
to say, Jess, you seem to be at odds with democracy as a concept.
I want Ebenezer Scrooge to rise from the grave on a pale horse and take
Ebenezer
America by force.
Ebenezer Bin
King
Laden.
George III needs to arise from the grave and be like, look what you fucking retards did. It took a while, but the whole system broke down.
You know, the reason why Eisenhower comes to my mind is like it's because like he was like a World War II general that like everyone in the world is like, oh, those were the good guys. But like now what we have is like, I mean, to a degree, it's like, oh, let's go invade some more Middle Eastern countries to acquire more resources. I don't want one of those guys.
This is why I'm kind of, I don't know. I've only seen a little bit of is it Kamala Harris? Kamala Harris. She's a veteran, right?
No, you're thinking of Tulsi Gabbard, I think. She's
Tulsi
the
Gabbard. Yeah, Tulsi Gabbard. I don't know if it's just that everyone. Whatever. I've heard it both ways. Well, I don't know if it's maybe just that people ask her about her like foreign policy opinions more often, so she ends up talking about it. But every time I hear her talking, she's talking about like some fucking foreign policy, like military shit. And like, I don't care about that. I don't want to lean into that. I kind of think maybe we should not have a veteran for president.
But Ben,
I don't want a military guy. I don't want to fucking care about that. We got to pull out of foreign entanglements, please.
Is that she wants to do less of it? Is her whole point? That's why she's talking about it. That's like her main.
Is that her main thing?
Yeah,
is that her
absolutely.
Main thing?
Absolutely.
Oh god, I spoke out of turn. And I made an ass of myself.
Okay, but to be fair.
Okay, well, I want to say Buttigieg is also a veteran, but I've heard him say, like, we need to, like, end foreign entanglements and, like, do less of that whole, like, foreign fucking... Yeah.
I mean, obviously. I think most of us are here, but...
okay.
Nah, I'm for war. More war, please.
Yes. The ever-popular for-war position.
I need 4 wars per year.
Yeah. I'm for 4 wars.
Ooh,
4
like
wars year.
You
4
can make like
wars
I'm
year.
envisioning like a Japanese haiku that's like, yes, in the fall I commit war. In the winter I commit second war. In the spring it is time for more war. And in the summer I settle down to yet another war. And life goes on.
It's like the Hobbit in Lord of the Rings. Like, yes, but what about second war?
We've defeated Sauron, but what about Second War? We need to fight again.
And that literally happens in the books too. After they
my bloodlust
destroy
isn't
the ring,
slaked
the hobbits
yet.
have Second War and they fight Saruman.
That's true. They just can't get enough, those greedy fucks. Well, we've learned a lot here today.
Did you include everything about the Yang Gang rally, Ben?
Oh, yeah. Any closing thoughts on that?
Oh, I mean, that was pretty much it. That was what happened. That's what the speech was like.
Did it not make you want to die, like how the Burning rally made me want to die?
That's a fair question.
It was fine. The only thing that made me want to die is that I missed my chance to get a picture with him.
Yeah, fair enough. And I don't know. Like, I'm not even with I don't know. I don't even feel like I came across particularly anti-Yang here or anything. Like, it's just like the political arena is so inherently, I don't know. Like, it's very unfortunate that it is like it is. If you know what I mean, ladies.
People don't think it be like it is, but it
But it absolutely do. And that's the moral.
And no one can argue that. Fucking try and prove me wrong.
Steven Crowder sign. Some don't think it be like it is, but it do. Change my mind.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway. Anyone else? What else is going on, ladies and gentlemen?
So yeah, that's it. Yang Gang, pretty good. Better than Bernie, I would say, by a narrow margin, but a narrow but undeniable margin.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Hey, I went to that. Well, I can let someone else talk. I've been going for a while.
I know what you're going to talk about, and I do want to circle back to that.
Okay.
So
last point on this, like, I don't know, political tinged discussion here is, Ben, I realized there's one area of this whole communist ideology that you 100% are for and back.
Yeah, that's right.
And I realized that the prospect that you are always on about state-mandated GFs and equal distribution of sex, I'm all for.
Hold on.
And you might say, but Nate, how are you going to handle, what about the consent issue of state-mandated GFs? Well, that's exactly why we need equal distribution of consent as well, that I'm all for. And that's...
So spread it thin, so like everyone's sort of okay with it.
You and your girlfriend consent, but Ben Saint doesn't consent. Well, is it not rape? I would say that it still is.
The gulf is wide. The consent gulf is widening in this country. 1% of the people receive 99% of the consent.
It's not fair. It's not fair.
And what does that leave the rest of us?
That's literally true.
Nothing at all. We have to fix it. This is. And I mean, when you got your state-mandated GF, she'll be thanking you for impregnating her so that her state-imposed explosive collar does not detonate because it detects the pregnancy. So really, you'll be doing her a favor in the end of the day.
Wow, you thought of everything.
It's a brave new future that I'm looking forward to. But that's all. So you got my vote, Yang. Communist representatives, I understand.
Man, I'm going to vote for him twice now.
Okay, anyway. Go on.
All right. What do you got? I
was going to talk to you about something, Hippo, and you too, Nate, because as we know, something happened yesterday.
Yesterday? What happened?
Oh yeah.
Of course. Now I remember. Yep. Okay, I'm with you.
It's sort of unfortunate that we titled the last episode Homestuck, because truly this is the Homestuck episode, because the first Homestuck epilogue came out. Now I was a vocal. I did not think this would happen on 4:30. I did not think that it would ever happen, if I'm being honest with you.
I gave up
But
hope.
it did. The first thing came out, and we have some thoughts on it.
It's the 10-year anniversary of Homestuck. Yep. 413 yesterday was 10 years from the release date of page 1.
And what happened?
Epilogue part 1
basically nothing. If you didn't read it, I wouldn't worry about it.
Yeah, it's
I'm just gonna tune out for this part then.
Yeah. It was the beginning of a series of epilogues to Homestuck. The prologue of the epilogues.
And by the way, it's only written word, no images.
Yeah,
no
written
images.
word. It's a sort of like written as if it were a fanfic about Homestuck, but written by Andrew Hussey and 2 other people, one of which is also an actual like Homestuck fanfic guy. I learned. So he teamed up with a Homestuck fanfic guy and someone else to write a post-canon, but still actually canon epilogue to Homestuck. And it details a little bit of information about like John and Rose talking about John doing a thing that happens in the comic that we didn't get to see in detail before. So it was an interesting like jokey sort of what's the word, display like in the form of a fan fiction.
Yeah, that's things to appreciate in that sense.
He had a whole like first page with a bunch of like
it was made to
tags
look like Archive of Our Own, which was a nice touch.
Yeah. And I read it, and I kind of liked it, but a lot of people are just mad because they hate Homestuck now.
That's me, baby. Right over here.
It is exactly what it may sound like, and that's weird, flowery fanfic tier writing.
But it's on purpose. It's a big brain intellectual. That's like, lol, you're the idiot for not getting it.
I mean, it wasn't like written as if it was a bad fanfic. Like, it's still like competent.
Yeah, well, okay, they're trying to like. I don't think it. Okay, it only comes across in like the format of it, where there's prose and then there's dialogue sections, and obviously the whole like aesthetic way it's presented. But I don't know. I don't really get the sense they're trying to make it like a fan fiction, though I guess I could be wrong in the sense of like writing, because it doesn't. They don't lean into it. I wouldn't say.
I think it's just presented that way.
What do you mean they? Wasn't it written by Andrew Hussey?
No,
I said 3 people. Andrew Hussey and 2 other people.
Oh God! See, this is what I hate about Homestuck, is that it's not written by Hussey anymore. So
the parts he did write are like maybe the worst parts of it, possibly. He wrote the dialogue, right?
Wait,
Hippo?
You know what? I think Homestuck's dead.
I actually don't know who wrote what.
What'd you say, Ben? What was that?
I said, you know what? I think Homestuck's dead to me.
I
think you're not alone.
How it feels. I mean, I was thinking about like, how this feels like. I would be mad if I thought Homestuck was still alive, but it feels more like an autopsy, but not even like in a bad way. I'm just interested to see what comes from this.
That's
I wasn't
fair.
I wasn't really waiting for the epilogue. I wasn't really like, oh, I really want the epilogue. It will fix everything. I'm just like, well, now it's here, and I'm reading it, and it's like, all right.
People who say like they were waiting for the epilogue to fix things have a completely like a different understanding of what made Homestuck bad than I do. There's nothing to fix. I don't give a shit if you like. Oh, they go by and they go back and fight Lord English, which is what's happening in this epilogue. We just literally see the fight. Oh, don't Homestuck's fixed now. That's completely separate from the issues. You can't like the only way to fix Homestuck is to literally just rewrite it. I don't care about the structural plot. I care about the moment-to-moment dialogue that just tanked and went to shit and is still bad now.
That's fair, but there's a lot of meta things going on with it that I'm happy to discuss.
I just want to say that I don't even hate it. It just was boring to me. This epilogue, it does not enrage me in the same way an Act 6 thing was, where I feel like I'm just completely wasting my time. It's so short and just boring. It's just boring, and I don't care. And I was not expecting
the same way.
It doesn't matter.
I give it a little more criticism, specifically because what is attempted, there are specific in the dialogue. They talk about the first thing is when John talks to Rose. I guess spoilers. Go read it. It's like three. It's several pages long. But whatever.
It's nothing. It'll take.
But they're really long
minutes.
pages. But whatever. It'll take you a couple minutes. So when John talks to Rose, they're discussing how there's a danger happening, and the way that it's introduced is in the lore of this new Homestuck epilogue thing. They're like, we exist outside of canon now. That's what the characters say. This is a real tangible concept. We are outside canon, which you can think of as the story of Homestuck. That was a thing released on this website. They are outside that now. It's a joke. It's real to them. Whatever. They're talking about John needs to go back and go in there, and several things are discussed. One is that, the danger they face now is that their current existence faces the danger of, they say, I forget the exact words they use, but, fading from effectively relevance, which I understand. We talked about this, me and Gib. I get the idea that it's that the audience will stop caring and that we won't think about them, and so they won't exist to us. This is the meta point being made that oh no, if we don't make more Homestuck content, we will be forgotten about. We extended universe.
I don't know whether
that was
absolutely
intentional.
No. Yeah. Well, that wasn't, I guess, an intentional. I don't. I'm not sure that was the message they were trying to get across with that. I think it was just sort of in an epilogue, the idea that if these characters who are in an epilogue, which is not part of the story, and John has retcon powers, and is shown to go back into the comic after he completes it to do something, then what would the character? Why would he do that? Why would the characters, these characters who are no longer part of the comic, who are effectively happy and fine and nothing will, bother them? It was an exploration of what if the characters in the epilogue knew that they were not part of the story anymore, and that was just sort of like a thing?
I mean, that's exactly right, but Hussey has chosen to make it a thing for these new characters that, I mean, we know as readers that these are the same character. This is canon in real life to us. He has chosen to make it a problem for us by continuing the story that we, the audience, will forget about them. That is the problem they made into a tangible danger for the characters. That's the way it was described.
I don't know how, okay.
Maybe I just didn't realize. Like,
I mean, the solution to this problem, the solution to the danger is to not write this story. That makes it not a danger, and then in our minds, the characters just, quote-unquote, live happily ever after, in whatever way anyone chooses to think about it. He's choosing to make this an issue, and he doesn't need to.
So cynically into that theme. It's a really, honestly,
but it's true.
Interesting
That's
theme.
So clear.
No. I'm saying we can take it like one step farther than that.
Okay.
This could be like almost like you can read into this a lot of things. One of which could be like it sort of factors into Viz Media in a way where it's like, Andrew, buddy, people are losing Homestuck. They don't care about Homestuck anymore. We don't see that many cosplayers at Anime Expo anymore. They're losing relevance. You gotta bring them back. You gotta do the epilogue that you teased that one time in one sentence like 2 years ago. You gotta do that.
It's been 3 years, by the way, since it ended. Just FYI for
3 years. So you could read like, John's being forced into this scenario just sort of out of the blue. He doesn't he is not.
John's being forced to dance for his money like a painted up whore, trotted out across our computer screens again.
Yeah, kind of.
You could read that maybe Hussey's doing something similar.
And John, like Hussey, is so cucked of a character. He is alone. He is sad. He's let his relationships dwindle in the 10 years since Homestuck ended. It's every nightmare I ever have about a character, and the way to fix this is to just not write the story and let me imagine the happy ever after. That's the solution. But he's choosing not to.
What the intention? Like, what is Hussey trying to convey?
Make more money, please, Viz Media. Capitalize on the brand.
Well, hold
That's
on.
the intention.
I just mean, like, John was like this. He was like a weird sad sack. Obviously not as pronounced or, like, explicit, but he was like this in the Snapchat stuff. He was like a weird loner that no one talked to. And, like, I just want to know, because I'm genuinely interested, like, why? This was never a thing about John before. Why
Maybe it represents Hussey's feelings about his own life? I don't know.
I mean, there's no, like, contradiction with that, because John
That's true.
didn't have, like, nearby friends. He only knew people online.
But he talked to them. What do you mean? He talked to them?
No, I know that.
I mean, 10 years is a long time.
There's been parts of, like, John's, like, sort of like repressing of emotions. Like, he doesn't let himself feel a lot of things, or like he doesn't say things when he's thinking things. Like the time where he sees his dad dead, killed in front of him, and he barely even reacts at all.
He does talk about moping about how his dad's been dead in the 10 years since the end.
Is it explicitly said that he represses it? Because I believe there was dialogue that said that he just doesn't feel the way that other people do. I believe that was explicitly said.
Well, the thing is, kids say that they don't feel emotions, but they do. Like, I feel like that would have been there was that time on the Meteor when he like thought that Con Air was shit, and he sort of had a breakdown and he went insane.
Yeah.
It's just like, he's a teenager, and a lot of Homestuck is about growing up, and John is just sort of like things that he just didn't have like the emotional capacity to react to properly. It just sort of made him, I don't know.
Hey, but how about the section of the epilogue though, where John is understandably questioning what exactly is the nature of the relationship between Roxy and Calliope. And, I mean, I've been wondering that all along, too. And, I mean, it clearly establishes John and Roxy, despite the obvious intention for them to be an item, did not get together. And, that's okay. That doesn't violate anything. It's just unsatisfying for me. But that can be intentional. That can be fun.
I mean, yeah, John is, like, weird. A real fucked... Like, I don't feel like it's too
weird. It's
not
bad writing.
It's very sad. It's very sad and, like, upsetting that John... our good blue boy,
yep,
has been like had this realistic upsetting, unsatisfying, like, growing up period of his life.
I mean, he's a god. How much of his life has to be realistic?
Oh, okay. It's weird that John and Roxy were even implied to be a thing and then not followed through. John and Roxy did not have like an organic like romance blossom between them. The first conversation John talks to Roxy, there's immediately like the boyfriend material joke. Immediately they want to bone in their first conversation. Does not develop whatsoever. And then they are implied to be they're implied to get closer and closer over their thing through the retcon. And then it does not pan out for no reason. It's not like they have a conversation where they decide they're not going to be together, or where Roxy decides that she will be with Calliope or not. It just is built up out of nowhere and then dropped out of nowhere.
That's acknowledged, and the only comment on it is like John's like, yeah, that was a thing. It's acknowledged that happened, and it's really sad that it didn't work out for whatever in-canon reasons.
Well, hold on. I think that's bullshit that you're just like, well, it didn't work out, and then like no reason given.
Mm-hmm. Like, well, that's I think it is
a weird fucked up dude. I don't know.
I think what the reason for it is that
why is Homestuck so fucking bad? John, there was nothing fucking fucked up about John. Like he was fine.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like what is this?
Well,
like,
he was fucked up after the time skip. He was just kind of a weirdo. I don't know.
John's always been a bit of a goober. He's not been like the most normal person of all time.
Is not
like, is he like an antisocial loner weirdo?
No,
though?
He's not. He's never been like that ever. I don't know why any of you are saying.
What about the fact that his friends only existed on the internet at the beginning of Homestuck?
And he was perfectly sociable. He was perfectly sociable.
No. For fuck's sake.
Sure.
John has been. He's not an outgoing social dynamo. He is very chill and relaxed, and people come to him. I'm just saying, like, Roxy is more of an outgoing person.
Okay,
well, yeah, John wouldn't initiate things. She would probably be waiting for him to, because she's a girl, and that's what girls do. And he just didn't do it. Like, I don't see John being a loner as like. I don't see John being a loner as completely out of character for John Egbert.
I mean, I agree with
that. I think it's something that can happen and probably happened to Hussey, and that's why he's written it like that.
I don't think that, like in theory, it makes absolutely no sense and is a betrayal of John's character. I feel like it came out of nowhere, was not properly set up, and goes against what I perceived the character to be like. I think pretty rationally.
I mean, and it also just sucks. It also just sucks.
Yeah, that's a perfectly reasonable point.
In Homestuck, yeah, you're right. John is not the most popular kid in school. He's not a social dynamo. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that John was already, like, let's say that, like, even the physical distance was greater, like it was pre the game, and he could not fly to people whenever he wanted to. He would still talk to people because that's what he did in Homestuck. You're right. He waited for his friends to initiate the conversations, but not like exclusively. He talked to people. He responded and was completely
I feel like
agreeable.
This conversation is honestly pointless because we could speculate all day about whether or not it was characterized correctly of John that he would react this way. But the fact is he did, and you can either like that or not. I just don't think, I don't know if that's
I have
fruitful.
one nugget of info from the author notes of Act 5, Act 2 that I read.
Okay.
Where Hussey was talking about how the romance that was set up immediately between Karkat and Terezi, and how that didn't go anywhere. And the reason he said that that it didn't go anywhere in the end was because the fact that it was obvious from the start made it kind of less interesting, and so he didn't want to follow through with it.
That sounds rather capricious as an author to just not follow through because things are too obvious.
Well, he explained in why it being too obvious just wasn't very interesting to him, and he was like, there's just quirks about the things he likes to write, and I think certain realistic, like, unsatisfying real-life things he likes to add into things like this. A lot of Act 6 is about, whether you like it or not, he likes to make things that just don't have payoffs in the way that you want them to, like Rose's, like, play the rain sort of thing. Like, he deliberately threw that under the bus because people were expecting it, and he's just kind of an asshole sometimes.
I mean, I would make a distinction between satisfying character arcs and, like, adventure potential threats that are not significantly built up that don't ultimately get finished.
Well, it's just a quirk about Hussey as a writer. Is what
it's just a quirk that he intentionally writes badly.
No,
it's
just
a
not,
quirk that he does.
Well, I mean, kind of.
I'm just kidding.
But I'm not defending it. I'm just explaining that this is why this thing with John is probably happening in this way.
People like
to make John have like a realistically upsetting, unsatisfying real life.
But hang on, that word realistic,
sucks.
I feel that you might be using to say that reflects more accurately your depiction of how life might go for him versus like if he just like got the girl. Why is that
I don't
unrealistic?
mean that. I don't mean that. I mean like in real life. Character arcs don't necessarily complete, and happy endings don't necessarily happen, and you know the girl doesn't necessarily get the guy doesn't necessarily get the girl at the end. You know, it's just like you know, real life is not like a fiction, and Hussey likes to put that in fiction.
Yeah, man,
and
we don't have arcs. We're people. We're not characters.
Yeah,
that literally right there is like a very obvious. You know, I don't really like it, but that's just how I understand Hussey.
I mean, I'm absolutely in the camp of it totally sucks that John and Roxy didn't get together. So that's just ultimately it just sucks. That's all.
Well, but why? I don't think they necessarily had that much chemistry together. And again, I think it came out of nowhere.
But they just met. They met for the first time.
Why? I know. Why do they instantly want to have? Well, okay. I guess
they didn't
they
even. They just worked together. It's not even weird.
Well, like, what's the point of that whole, like, part of the story, then? Like, the whole thing is that, like, John and Roxy are having, like, this romance or whatever building up during the thing. And, like, to have that come to nothing, it's like, well, why did I even fucking bother reading it? Why don't we just skip to the end?
Does Hussey plan out every little thing about, like, how a character, you know, the relationship will progress? Yeah, I mean, things kind of spiral out.
It's funny because it was satisfying when he didn't plan things. Yeah. And then by Act 6, he probably was planning out everything. And
perhaps.
So, like, Act 5...
I mean, frankly, I think to say that he planned out everything and then have this Roxy
aside
thing...
from some world-building things he had in mind. Like, a lot of Act 5, all the troll, like, you know... He didn't have it all mapped out in his head, and it was really, really funny. And it was really good.
What's striking about this Homestuck epilogue is how played straight it is. It just is, like... two things. First of all, there are jokes, quote unquote, and I said this in a text chat with Hippo, but they operate at such a low like frequency and such like a low like they were like maybe
dour.
Three I could just even think of, and they were so I don't know what the word is, but just like non-effectual whatsoever.
It was a depressing thing. So
I equate it to be like a Twitter joke on your timeline, where it's just like, you know, I guess it's a joke. You know, I register it as it's intended to provoke humor, and then you scroll past it immediately. There was nothing stuck with me whatsoever.
It definitely feels like a dilution of Hussey humor with a fanfic Homestuck author put in there and someone else. Like, it definitely feels like a three-person thing. If I was being extremely generous, which generally I like to be generous, but I don't actually think this is the case in this. But this is an idea I had, is that the fact of it being a fanfiction is part of the reason why it sort of isn't that funny, like Homestuck, because fanfiction writers often don't stick with the tone of the original work. Like, if they take like a happy thing, they write a gore fanfic, like everyone's dead, like cupcakes, stuff like that. They go completely off the wall, crazy, or like super dramatic, and it's like not in line with the way the characters are, and it's, you know, just because a lot of fanfics are written by teenagers who are just moody and depressed and horny, and that's all they're thinking about. So they just take the characters they like and make them do things that they wouldn't otherwise do.
When you're dealing with a meta,
if I'm being extremely generous,
fanfiction, you're saying that fanfiction. You're saying that fanfiction writers don't think that it be like it is.
Yeah.
Tragically,
and this thing that's happening in this fanfiction is like, you know, Rose is on drugs and like having visions. And John has like a choice to make, and his relationships have all fucked off, and he's really depressed, and he maybe will go somewhere and never come back and never see his friends again. And it's all like kind of depressing and dramatic, which is like a fan fiction would be, but I don't know whether that was deliberate or whether that was just sort of
I haven't read it. I'm just going off of what you guys are saying. Is this a cry for help from Hussey?
I
don't
potentially,
think so.
maybe. I don't know.
It's hard to tell, but I don't think so.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say that's unlikely, but maybe. I mean, who knows? Maybe all of
Hussey's
Homestuck
probably
Act
been
6
crying
for help
ever since
people stole his money.
His life.
Yeah.
Ever since the Odd Hat Man?
Yeah,
the Odd Gentleman. The Odd Gentleman.
Yeah, ever since then.
Dude, shout out to Hive Swap Quest by Shadok.
Yes, quite good. I'm gonna link that in chat right now. Hold on.
Okay, good. Hey,
it details the tremendous fuckery that is the release of Hive Swap Act 1 and the fact that it's completely delayed and everything sucks, but it's funny. It's a funny little animation.
Poor Hussey.
Shout out to the Odd Gentlemen for their great work on King's Quest V. Spectacular.
As known on Steam Train, Game Grumps.
Oh yeah,
they played that.
I did want to just shit on this epilogue in one other way, which we a little bit got past, or I don't know, maybe people were trying to excuse a little bit, which was just that, like, there is specific mention made of how, one of the things that John needs to do is go back to, like, what's described in canon, I think by Rose, or maybe Calliope, I can't remember. It's like they need to, like, quote, fill in the gaps, like, in canon. So we're just literally talking about, like, answering questions that were not addressed. Like, that, and I know, like, yes, doesn't, like, ruin or fix Homestuck to do this. I can put that aside. It's just that, like, this just reminds me of, it sure sucked that, like, the whole way that Lord English was defeated, I barely understood it all. And now we're gonna go answer that question, I guess? Cool.
Wait,
just in time.
There's a
while
guy
I totally
called
still care.
Lord English in Homestuck? Like,
there sure
fucking
is.
Yeah.
Ultima?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Just like Ultima.
What the
Yep.
Yeah, maybe.
It's deliberate.
I don't understand.
Oh, is?
I've just been sitting here for the last 45 minutes, like, I don't fucking get it.
Yeah. I have no fucking idea what's going on.
I wouldn't expect anything less.
So I just want to say that, like, sure is embarrassing that Homestuck didn't, like, write itself well the first time, and now needs to go back and, like, fix things in Act 6.
Right,
so
even
that's
worse if this is what is to be the standard.
Yeah, like, so this is what I'm supposed to call genius 4D writing, to just, like, not make it satisfying the first time and have to go back years later after it's done and try to fix it.
I would never, like... I like to understand why things are the way they are. I don't, like, defend anything that I've been explaining. I don't think Hussey is a genius for writing things badly on purpose.
In some ways, I would say he is. It's just that he's made mistakes.
Hippo said he doesn't think this is a genius move, necessarily,
okay.
I think is...
In the chess game...
I mean, the past is the past. He can't, like, fix Homestuck, even though he tried to with John's retcon powers, which sucked, and I hate. And he changed the whole website.
That was a change, like, trying to fix Homestuck. I think it was just, like, a narrative...
Well, you're
idea.
right. He didn't try to fix Homestuck. He, in fact, fucked up Homestuck by changing old panels with his epic 4D retcon panels thing, which I don't even dislike. What I just don't like is that the experience of reading the comic will never be replicated again because it's been changed due to narrative things later.
And now the books are printing with those retcons in.
I think that's fine. Like... with the hand? The hand is
the hands.
that doesn't take anything away from
the armor
story.
retrieval hand.
I'm totally okay with the
armor
armor retrieval hand.
But, well, okay, the one thing that it takes away is the change that you would experience if you were a current reader reading along.
Nate, I'm going to argue against it. I actually think it's better to print with it because now you probably won't notice them on your first pass through, or even if you do, you probably will just like dismiss it and not know what it
Ben,
is.
You might be right about that.
And then when you get to that part and you're like, wait a minute, and you might flip back in the book and be like, whoa, it was there all along. I didn't even know. I didn't even think about it.
I'll agree. The story is probably better for that, and I don't mind it. But the thing I do mind about that is I don't like the potential credit that Hussey will receive for people thinking that he thought about that ahead of time when he did not and does not deserve to be rewarded
Nate.
for that. That's my issue.
How do you know he
That's
didn't?
dumb.
If you're writing a narrative, how
because
hard
it wasn't
is
in
it
the
really
comic.
To...
It wasn't
But
in
how
the comic.
hard is
That's
it really
how.
to think ahead of time. People act like it's some
Okay,
mystical
Jesse,
power.
this
like,
is one of the things that we know.
Anything like it's never happened before.
No,
okay.
Because Jesse, we read the comic and the comic itself changed as part of the lore.
He
could have planned it. He could have planned to not write it in the panels ahead of time.
Nate, you have. I don't know whether this is like smart or not of you, because I just generally don't agree with it. But like you put a lot of like emphasis or like clout on somebody planning something ahead of time or not. Like if you can't prove that you planned it ahead of time, then they're not allowed to get like credit or
I'm a
like
skeptic.
artist
What can I say?
credit.
Yeah,
well,
absolutely.
I just generally don't think that really matters, because it's like how much you care about, like how many good boy points you give to the author. I don't know.
There is a kind of social currency and narrative intelligence currency.
Nate, if he had written the whole book on his own without putting it online, right? If he'd just written Homestuck on by himself and then released it all at once, then he could have thought of the arm thing later on as he was writing and gone back and added it in. And it would be normal. So why is it not fine for him to think of something to add to the comic later on and go back, add it in, and then print it as though it was there all along? Because that's just what writing a book is like. I mean, you don't have to think of everything in order.
I mean, that's totally fair. But for one, it's simply the fact that any number of things or people or ideas could have influenced his process since it was released piece by piece as it went through. So, I'm aware that art
does this boil down to how much money the person deserves to make?
No, it's actually not about money at all. It's about social cred or intellectual cred. That's the thing I'm concerned with.
That's a very personal thing.
I care immensely.
I understand that you care immensely about it, but you bring it up in arguments with other people who may not give a shit about that amount of
maybe the audience will.
It's like wait, hold on. We got to make absolutely sure not to let this author get more credit for this thing. We can call this thing good, but we got to qualify that this was good by accident. So we shouldn't give the author credit for it.
Yeah.
No, God, stop! Don't be with Nate. What are you talking about?
I'm with Nate. It's not it's not. It shouldn't be regarded as even impressive to foreshadow. It should just be a given. And if you can't do it, and you have to retroactively put foreshadowing in that wasn't there before, then you failed as a writer, and you shouldn't be praised.
That's stupid!
You know what? I don't know. There's it kind of reminds me of
when you're writing a book, the webcomic format, the format that Homestuck came out and did not allow for that. People write big ass novels. They spend years. Just shut up. They spend years writing a novel. They have all that time to go back and rework and re-edit. People don't just it's like you're expecting them to get it right on the first try. Nothing's ever right on the first try. Movies go through drafts.
No.
Movies go through fucking 1,000 drafts before they're released. Novels get rewritten and rewritten and rewritten. And it's fine.
I get it.
I don't think you do get it. Because if you did get it, you wouldn't think this weird thing that you think. It doesn't make any fucking sense.
For some reason, Ben, you are equivocating between two very different mediums and assuming that everything that's involved in one needs to be applied to the other when they're completely different and not at all.
Isn't that what you're doing?
Why would you judge them differently?
Because they're different mediums. Why don't you judge a painting and a song the same?
So
they're basically the same thing, right?
Because it's an internet thing that came out weekly, and he didn't have as much time to maybe edit it for years and years each time, that he couldn't have properly foreshadowed the first time because it was coming out weekly on the
right.
Listen. If that were
foreshadowing
Hippo,
thing.
let me fucking talk.
Right.
If that were a requirement, then what you'd be saying is it's not okay that he decided on something later to go back and add in because it's what? Because he didn't think of it soon enough, and
I think it would be impressive if he had.
Okay. Well, I'll agree that it's not as impressive that he didn't have it all planned out from the start.
I think you'll agree.
I did it.
Mm-hmm. I mean, yeah, you did it with some of the aspects of the horseshoe stuff.
But I'm better than Hussey, is my point. That's the whole thing I was getting at this whole time.
I figured as much. But, okay, just to put a final point on it, the reason why, it actually ties back to Digi and Destiny's debate they had the other day.
Oh, no.
which is I'm not gonna get too much into it. It's just that it's like, imagine you've got two manga. I'm thinking of manga right now for whatever reason, but like, you got two mangakas, like Oda. Supposedly, we'll find out when One Piece is done. I don't take this on faith, but he says he had the ending planned all along, and when it comes out, we'll see if it's good or not, and we'll be able to judge it. Until then, I remain agnostic as to how good it was. Whereas, like, let's say, like, something like Naruto, the way Naruto ended was clearly not the way things, like, were intended all along. A lot of stuff was kind of made up as a way. Like, the importance of Sasuke was conflated to be, like, the rival to Naruto. That became the focus. And, like, what we can learn from this, I think, and again, we'll judge Oda after it's all done, is, like, what we can expect from the quality of the writing of the person when they write their next thing. It's how impressive do we expect it to be? Or like someone who's a game developer who makes a game that's like broken, but then when they make DLC, oh, like that fixes it. Well, okay, great. But now when you make your new project and maybe that doesn't have DLC, we can possibly expect it to, you know, have some holes or not be fucked up or, you know, that stuff.
I think this like leads into like just managing hype, right? So like George Lucas.
Sure. It's about respecting the intellectual process, I would say.
He made Star Wars, but like a lot of the good decisions weren't entirely his. So when he had complete creative control, people thought because George Lucas made Star Wars that the prequels would be really good. And they weren't. Because George is like kind of not that good at writing, as it turns out. So like what you would like is for people to be more skeptical about giving certain creatives
very much so.
high amounts of praise when they may not actually deserve the praise, so as to mitigate hype in the future so that people don't get burned.
More or less, yes. It's about managing consumer like choices in terms of what you want to invest your money and time in, and like expectations for personal enjoyment.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of the time where I don't agree with you on things like that, it's really just because whether or not they deserve the credit, they're basically the same level of artist. I don't think Oda will be a complete hack.
Well, I disagree.
I don't think Oda will be a complete hack if something about One Piece is not good when so much of it is brilliant, you know?
Well, sure, but that's not really what I mean. I mean, maybe it is in the sense that you're talking about, like, things that aren't planned, like hockey. I argue all the time hockey was not planned, and there are some holes that I feel hockey creates minor issues with. But... Sorry, what?
No, Conquer's hockey.
Well,
Armor
hockey.
H-A-K-I. It's an anime.
It's an anime thing. Okay, well, you know what? I think the people have heard enough on this. I think they get our side.
There was one point that I wanted to say before we move on about Homestuck. Sure. I just want to say that this entire thing seems like the bane of my existence.
Yeah.
And this is meta-narrative at any cost. We will do anything as long as it's
you're talking about Homestuck. You're talking about
Homestuck right now.
Okay.
The Homestuck epilogue.
Sacrifice everything for the sake of a meta, whatever it takes.
Homestuck in the beginning was not like, okay, it was meta in a few ways, but like its goal was not to be as like meta as humanly possible, which is what everyone latched onto by then. Just like the only reason to read Homestuck is that it was so fucking crazy. It plays with narrative structures.
I mean, just to put one point on there, I would argue that Homestuck has done the best job of thoroughly exploring the fictional, not meta, real concept of time travel. It has done a far better job than any other story I've ever read, and like that's not a meta concept. That's just great storytelling, and it was sick and dope. So
agreed.
Salute that.
I would say meta can enhance a story, obviously. I'm not saying that being meta is bad, but I'm saying that it was just used sparingly in the beginning and then ballooned into a larger portion of what the story was about than I wanted. And now it feels like it's consumed. Like this entire thing is just one Rose and John text about, you know, philosophical quandaries, you know, are we canon, we're forgetting, we're fading, da-da-da-da-da. Whereas I would like to have just heard some of the funny, rich dialogue that was in the beginning. I just missed that, and I don't like that seemingly Hussey is just now played into the fact that Homestuck is a meta thing, and that's all that we must pay attention to.
Yeah, it's like it started off as a comic about 4 kids stuck in their homes and their quest that is like metaphorically about growing up. And then meta stuff also was there, and now it's completely shifted. It's mostly meta stuff, and there is no character back and forth at all.
I mean, I think that, because Hussey's talked about many times about, or like we've speculated on Arm Retrieval famously and elsewhere, that like Hussey doesn't care anymore. Like, the thing he does care about is, I think Hussey is interested in telling meta stories. I don't think he's particularly interested in these characters, and, their stories are done, and so... I like, maybe he really is being, or like, encouraged heavily by Viz Media to go back and like make more, and he's turning it into a meta thing that he does find interesting with this whole fading from relevance, plot line. I don't know, and that's not even uninteresting, but I think, as Munchie was saying, when you, intentionally or not, because you want to or not, when you sacrifice the things that guys like me and Munchie and Gib and Ben and everybody fell in love with, which is like the witty snarkiness, for the sake of getting more meta stuff out of there, I just think it's natural to lose some excitement and some of your fans in that process. So yeah, that's where I'm at.
I also want to say
that
no one agrees with me. No one in this call, no one agrees with me in the world. Mm-hmm. That the Homestuck art was good and then it became bad and that's a problem. Everyone's like, oh, fucking, whatever. No one even no one even looked at the drawings anyway. Do you? Well, thank fucking God.
Soul versus soul.
I'd rather someone
Soul versus soul.
I don't shit on me.
I think, you tried to point out some, like, sloppy panels in, like, the later acts, and, like, yeah, they're there, but, like, there were always some sloppy panels.
It's not like there were some bad in Act 6. It means the overwhelming majority of them were terrible, especially towards the end.
Well, I assume you mean aesthetically, right?
From there. Yeah,
do you mean in terms of like skill? Oh, yeah, okay. Aesthetically, I think we can that could be a serious debate.
Well, and skill, and as well.
I mean, that you might see some pushback on. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know. Homestuck always had its always had its wonky art. Homestuck always had its wonky art moments.
It wasn't wonky. It was just like unkempt and rushed and sort of like slapdash. Like he drew a really good drawing, but he left in like little mistakes. Like when he erased things, he would leave like little like stray pixels around, and that was just like part of the look. Later, everything's like actually a little cleaner. But it's just like the structure of like the poses and the gifs. And, like, the layouts are just boring and uninteresting to look at.
Exactly.
Overall.
There is no shortage of iconic panels from Mid-Homestuck. Of course
there are. Of course there are, but the
completely barren.
That's a fair point, Munchie, but let's leave it there. I think the people can judge that one, and
okay,
I don't know
if
we get anywhere.
I mean, okay. I don't know, Munchie. I'm gonna say I think that maybe if there's fewer iconic visuals, if there's fewer iconic moments in Act 6, it's probably just because the story sucks and not because the art like took a huge downhill.
It took a downhill, maybe not the hugest.
Not as huge
we're
as the
exaggerating
writing.
it.
Not as huge as the writing. But
well, sure.
Definitely palpable. 100% palpable.
Definitely Palpatine. Speaking of which, Star Wars Episode 9 is coming,
ladies
and
I
gentlemen.
can't
Let's
wait.
get into that
Wow.
No.
Oh,
Star Wars Episode 9 is the most disappointing thing
I was just
since my con.
By the way, I was just kidding before. I don't really have
it's
an opinion
me.
on Hussey, obviously, but I'll tell you an opinion. I'll give you a fucking spicy opinion right here.
Please.
I want it to be over. I don't like Star Wars and I hate it, and that's it. It's not that spicy.
I think
it's just defeated.
That's
just
so
defeated.
spicy.
I'm curious. Did you see Solo?
Really
did you see Solo?
No, you're right.
Chance?
It's not. I didn't see Solo.
I haven't seen any.
Neither
of
did anyone
the
else.
Star
I
Wars.
just when I woke up and I saw that there was a new Star Wars trailer, I just felt angry. Just like, no, not again.
I mean,
no more.
We knew. I mean, you knew it was coming.
I knew it was coming, but like I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready for the discourse. That's what
I was not
me.
ready.
It's not. It's not even the movies themselves that bothers me. It's that I know there's going to be a new wave of Star Wars discourse, and I'm not fucking ready for it.
That's true. That is true.
I can't wait for the hundreds upon thousands of thumbnails of reviews to come out.
Hey, just a quick question. Red Letter Media did not make a Last Jedi review, right? The last one,
they did.
No, they did.
You fucking nerd.
Okay.
Wait, they made a Plinkett of that?
Played straight. Yeah, Mr. Plinkett did a completely straightforward review of The Last Jedi, and it was like weird that it was not at all.
Yeah,
like,
it was not like
stuff.
It was not because like the old Plinkets when they first came out, they had a purpose because nobody had gone that in depth before about these Star Wars prequels. Like now, it's just another fucking YouTube video.
Did I miss this fucking video?
The YouTube algorithm.
It was called The Last Plinkett Review because at the end I think he goes on about like how there's no reason I did this because everyone else has done it. Oh, but I did it anyway. Oh,
that's a rough look.
He suggests he says something about a boycott, but it's obviously not because clearly he's been swallowed by the YouTube algorithm and he's gonna make another one.
I mean, I don't mind half in the bags on the Star Wars because
of course not. I like half in the bag.
It just feels different.
It's appropriate.
Plinkett should be
videos. Not Star Wars.
That's
itself,
honestly
the
thing about boycotting. I mean, fucking what's his face? James Rolfe with his what is it? Like he's Ghostbusters boycott, little controversy. That's fine, but boycott the real big boy thing to do is indeed boycott like any social media discussion or interaction with the thing that you're boycotting, and you can't like hashtag stay away from the Jedi or any of that because all you're doing is drumming more attention.
It's almost at political levels. Like, I hate Star Wars talk almost as much as I hate hearing people talk about politics. It's that saturated that it's getting to that point in my brain where, like, I hear it and I just want to.
You know what the weird
somebody.
thing is?
Dude, even Democrats and Republicans like red lightsaber, blue lightsaber. You know?
My God!
Wow, you got it, dude. The thing about Star Wars is, and this is the thing that really pisses me off about it. It feels like there's the most rage and anger about it, and the most like waste of everyone's in the time world for the least amount of content that has been generated. It's like one movie every, like at least with Marvel, there's like a movie every 6 months or whatever. So like I get it why that keeps coming up, but Star Wars is there's so little substance in Star Wars. It's every one episode of Star Trek has more intellectual content than any individual Star Wars movie.
There's like
the original.
Even
I don't give a
the
shit.
movies. There's like there's got to be 12 Star Wars movies at least, and there's like 2 good ones. 2 of them are good. Only 2.
That sounds about right.
Episode 1, Phantom Menace. Episode 3.
Nah, I mean, episode 2 is the best memes. Sand, it's coarse and gay.
I like Empire and I like Revenge of the Sith, and that's it.
You don't even like A New Hope? You don't like episode 4
A New Hope
or whatever?
is boring as fuck. That is a boring fucking movie.
What?
No, there's a spicy take.
That is a spicy take.
That's the take we were looking for.
Yeah, I'm surprised. A boomer such as yourself would...
Star Wars is the most boomer shit. It's the most boomer core shit in the world. Everyone even talking about Star Wars is a boomer.
Wait.
That's true.
Wait, there's 2 things. I can think of 2 things more boomer, and that is Gremlins and Back to the Future.
And
I guess that's fair.
They're a little more boomer than Star Wars.
Nate, you mentioned Star Trek.
Yes.
Let's diverge immediately away from Star Wars.
Okay.
Talk about Star Trek a bit. I saw a clip on YouTube of Data and Klingon man Rolf,
Worf.
whatever his name is, Worf. I don't know anything about Star Trek, but it was a scene in which Worf sort of dismissed, like Data is an acting captain, and Worf like was first mate, and he sort of dismissed him in front of the crew, and Data pulled him into another room to explain to him how you're not supposed to do that as acting as first mate, and it was like Data is a robot, and he said it in a very robotic way, but it was sort of. Just explaining what his role is, and then Worf like, I'm sorry, Captain. Like he just took the criticism like a man, like an alien man.
And you know why?
Then they parted on good terms, even though it was just like really interesting clip. And then in the comments, everyone was like, I remember this scene. I learned so much about honor from these.
That is one of the things.
If it was spooty old Star Wars, then that conversation would go with Worf being like, I'm falling to the dark side. I'm gonna become evil. The rage is building inside me.
One of the things I love about Star Trek so much, and at least of the 3 seasons I've seen of the original, Next Generation, and I've seen some of Voyager, not counting that, but fucking Deep Space Nine is the insane. Actually, this is a little bit less in Deep Space Nine because that takes place during like a war, but especially in the Next Generation, the consummate professionalism of every member of the crew. They know their duty. They do their job. These are military scientist people. They are there. They do not defy orders unless there's some like really good reason to do it. It's not about being like a rogue. It's about being a member of a fucking team. And it feels like there's something so refreshing to just be like, like there can be order. There can be like a social cohesion between people, and people can just be nice. and do good things to each other and like fulfill their responsibilities, watch The Next Generation, and just feel the cathartic feeling that society is worth fighting for, and it can feel so good sometimes.
That's always been the point of Star Trek, especially TNG, was like showing humanity in the best light and being like, look what can happen if we aspire to greatness and like commit to it.
Exactly. And that moment you said right there, like that literally could be a moment. I'm just saying, like Data was acting captain against Klingon, alien, android is what Data is. Technically, two different species. Like this could be like a racist moment. I guess it'd be a speciesist moment or whatever. And like, sure, you could go to HR or whatever, and you could like complain to someone. But instead of doing that, he takes them aside. They just discuss this as professionals. Worf has a bias, as many people do in The Next Generation, against Data. But the thing is, for people who don't know, so a lot of people know about Star Trek and Data, and that is an android. Just so people know, Data was not constructed by anyone to be a Starfleet officer. Data was constructed as an android with free will, who independently just lived his life and decided...
Yeah. Is he X? Is he just X, basically?
He's basically X. He just, like, because the Maverick Hunters and then were founded, and then X decided to join them because he wanted to do that. Data just decided the best thing he could do with his life to fulfill his own personal goals was to go through the academy, the Starfleet Academy, as every other student did. He was just a student, work hard, and earn his commission as an officer, and then he became second officer on the flagship through his pure merit, through no, like, being, like, built for the purpose. He just decided to and has inherent gifts, and that's why when he talks to Worf in that scene, and Worf says like, "Hey, fuck you, man. I'm not gonna work for some fucking machine." Data says, "You don't understand, Worf. I earned this position. I am the captain. We have a machine here. There's an order."
Exactly.
Well, I'm paraphrasing. He asserts that he's the captain and that Worf, like, they need to abide by the roles of this like military order of Starfleet in order to make sure that everything runs efficiently. And if this is going to be a problem, like, I think he says, like, let me know, like, I'll have you step down and I'll put someone else, you know, in first officer position, or I think that was implied at least. So I'm just saying. It's the best. It's the best.
You know, basically, it's that scene in Game of Thrones when Jon Snow gets elected Lord Commander of the Night's Watch, and Janos Slynt's like, "Fuck you," and Jon is like, "I'm commander," and if you know, it's the death sentence to fucking defy the Lord Commander, and Janos is like, "Yeah, well, fuck you anyway." And he's like, "Well, I'm gonna behead you then," and then he does that.
It's basically like that. Only I think
so. It's pretty much.
I think they've outlawed the death penalty in Star Trek. Little known, well, maybe people know this. People who are criminals are treated as mental health cases and are like treated to like fix their broken brains, and that's what they do.
My favorite thing about Star Trek.
Yeah.
I really should watch it.
I didn't know that. I did not know that about Starfleet.
It's true. There's just so you know, there's a couple cases of people who brains they can't fix. And, like, those people are the ones they keep in jail. But it's very, very rare, those kind of people. But they're there.
Sure.
My favorite thing about Star Trek, every time I see, a clip of, like, the bridge and them just walking around...
You won't believe how much you love Star Trek when you watch it. I'm just saying. But anyway, go on.
Well, it's the fucking carpet. It's the fucking carpet and the lighting. And it feels like a really nice, comfy... like Friend's house.
The bridge of the Enterprise is home. I want to live there every day.
Yeah, it's so nice to see like the ideal, like the idea of like a spaceship, but built to be furnished so that people are relaxed and calm and it's nice.
Yeah. Oh, and
which makes a whole lot more sense than just like we're in space, so
dude,
really really cold blue lighting and stuff.
The thing about that
is
that
metal.
very ship, like when they make Star Trek movies. They redo the lighting to make everything look like professional and like movie-esque and fancy. They just completely fuck up the lighting on the bridge to like be like weird, spooky, like mood lighting. Because it's a movie now, we need to look cool. We can't look like flat, even, comfy lighting like on the movie. And
everything about
first of all,
movies.
It's not canon. Second of all, it sucks and it's try-hard bullshit. So
Star Trek is just so thoroughly patrician. And Star Wars is such literal baby shit. Like, I know you can like both. It doesn't have to be comparing the two. It's just a nerd thing to compare the two. But God, Star Wars is such baby shit. It's so like, why does
Star
Trek being patrician doesn't exclude Star Wars from being baby shit.
You know,
it would be baby shit if Star Trek didn't exist.
That's true. But you know, when Sparta from Devil May Cry was young, he fought with the demon King Mundus. He was his right-hand man. But then, quote, he woke up to justice. When I was young, I was a big fan of Star Wars. You know, I fought on the side of Star Wars. Then I woke up to Star Trek. That's what happened to me. And now I'm on the right side of history.
God, when I put on any episode of Star Trek, any series, whether it's the original or Next Generation, whether it's Deep Space Nine, you know, I put on any episode of Star Trek, and I just feel like I'm in a good place. I feel like I'm in a comfy.
And I just wake up to justice.
I wake up to justice.
Let's have a shirt in the store that says, "Hey, I woke up to justice today."
That's a good idea.
There's a fucking Starfleet logo on it.
Oh, yeah. We can play into the
Waking
Starfleet
up to justice.
Actually,
Nate, you know what you got to do next?
A legally distinct Starfleet logo.
A legally distinct Starfleet. Yeah.
Oh my fucking god.
We should have the bottom say, "Join legally distinct Starfleet today. Wake up to justice."
Nate, the next thing that Sparta did is he in that passage he woke up to justice and he stood against the Legion alone. That means you have to go fight all the fucking Episode 9 videos now and talk about how Star Trek tools over all of them,
which is everybody.
Oh no! I have to be the biggest.
True, like being a disprivileged minority in this country is being one non-Star Wars fan. Standing against the horde every fucking couple of years.
It's basically the cultural equivalent of the oppressed gamer. It's the oppressed Star Trek fan.
It's like the new Crusades. Like they're just going and slaughtering everyone who doesn't adhere to the Church of Star Wars and its fruity
corporate America
wizard shit.
Corporate America is an in-club. Everyone who is a billionaire loves Star Wars.
Indeed.
And if you don't like Star Wars, you can't be their friend, and they won't let you make money.
Why?
So,
that's how it is.
That's nepotism.
Damn right it is.
That's crony capitalism.
Why does Star Wars never get called out for being fucking corny? Because
you mean like the originals or the new ones? Because
here's the thing, you know, like Kingdom Hearts 3 came out. And all anyone said was how corny Kingdom Hearts is, because the light and then the darkness, but then the light in your heart makes you good, but I don't want to be the dark in my heart. That's exactly what Star Wars is. It's the same. Why does no one ever say that Star Wars is corny as fuck? It's a fantasy for autistic people who see everything binary, black and white. You ever notice when you get those comments on your videos from someone who you can tell is really autistic, and they think that you're just a bad person because you use like the word retard or something?
Yes.
You use like naughty language.
Is it?
You're a bad person. That's the kind of people who see the world in totally black and white. Everything that is either bad or good, light or dark. That's what Star Wars is. That's why it's so popular. It's a fantasy for autistic fucking retards who see the entire world in terms of light side and dark side. Oh no, I'm falling to the dark side. The space wizard is gonna make me turn to darkness in my heart. Shut the fuck up. Oh my god. Yeah. Meanwhile, you've got Star Trek over here, which is all this like, you know, like high concept, actual stuff that's like moral dilemmas that people can actually like form like arguments for and think about philosophically. And then you got Star Wars over in the corner. The light side and the dark side. Like a laser sword.
Yeah, don't
do
the bad one.
Dark sabers.
Do the good one.
It's just Kingdom Hearts. It's exactly as stupid as Kingdom Hearts.
I've heard the comparisons to Kingdom Hearts. Yeah. For sure. I mean, is there any more comparison that's just the low IQ version of the story versus the high IQ version than Star Wars and Star Trek? I don't know.
I mean,
I
think about it.
I thought you meant like Star Wars is the low IQ and Kingdom Hearts is the high.
Kingdom Hearts, yeah, that's the high IQ version.
Kingdom Hearts is
that too.
When are we going to get the Star Wars world in Kingdom Hearts? They're all owned by Disney
over here.
That's true.
Blue pill Star Wars sheep over here. Well, I'm so red pilled and I'm fucking playing Kingdom Hearts like a bouse, like a bouse. Yeah, it's 2009 again, baby.
God, I want to go back. Well, that was thorough. Good job, team. Anything else going on?
I went to a thing. I went to a fucking comics club.
It was a Yang rally.
No, not that. I went to this thing called the Boston Comics
I mean, going to a Yang
Table.
Gang meeting is pretty much like going to stand-up comedy, if you know what I'm saying. A real clown at the podium, if you know what I mean.
Munchie, do you want to say something?
I do want to say something. First of all, check out the Enter the Gungeon episode of Endless War, of RFCK, so you can get some backstory and get some long-winded whining
I whine a whole bunch about this in that episode. Yeah.
Why did they suck? Ben was kicked into shape in that episode and forced to walk down the royal road and try and reach up to his idol Tim Buckley and become the most proficient mangaka on Earth.
Yeah.
And and the night I told him on the episode that I would remind him every single night to go that Thursday, and I did. And the night before, and I believe the night of as well, I told him today's the day. And you went, and you replied to me, quote, "It was fine." So we talked extensively about the pros and cons of the Comics Roundtable and about how it could make or break things and how it was pivotal that you were to go.
That's not. I don't.
I'm exaggerating. I'm exaggerating greatly.
I think that's.
I'm saying though, to have our incredibly long conversation of it turn out to be, it was fine. I want to hear.
Well, here's the thing. Like, that's kind of why I didn't want to go, because I was like,
I mean, you say this.
I think I might just go, and it might just be like, no, there's nothing really. Nothing going on.
In the episode, you describe how it might be fine, and then you would feel like you have no more options left. Do you feel like you have no more options left now?
Yeah. Now I'm trapped.
Okay.
Wait, I'm sorry.
Now I'm trapped.
What?
Now I'm trapped in the cage of my own life.
Options for what? I don't get it. What's
there's
the
no
goal?
Escape. Well, the idea was that, like, I hadn't, like, been going out very much. And I was like, well, there's this thing that I could go to. I used to go to it, and it was fine. Anyway, it's just, like, a club thing. It's been running since, like, 2006. Before I moved in with Digi, when I was living here before, I went for a little while, and, like, it was pretty good. I met some people. It was fun. And then I left and I came back, and I never got around to going back to it. And now it's like every week it maybe another time. But I went back this week, and it was like, I don't know, it was kind of dead. And I think maybe because there was a gallery opening, like, in the building where it was happening. Not sure if that had anything to do with it. Here's the thing, right? I get there, and it's a bunch of freaks. And I say that in, like, the most loving way possible. I say that in the least judgmental way possible. Everyone's a fucking weirdo. Probably me. Probably me too.
Okay. I'm really surprised that you would say that as a pejorative. Because if there's some... I would imagine that you would love to see freaks and geeks.
Well, there's friends that are fun to hang out with and friends that aren't, freaks, freaks.
I don't know. There's, like... All right, there were a couple. I get there, and there's a couple of non-binary people talking about just how non-binary they are.
Great.
In like they're loving it, and I don't think either of them even draw or write, so I don't know what they're doing there. But they seem to be the ones in charge.
Okay.
So like right off the bat, that's pretty good. Good start. Then there's this guy. He looks maybe a bit younger than me. He comes in. At some point, it becomes clear that he's on the spectrum. He uses the word retarded to describe... See, I start going off on a rant about spirit science and the love battleship, right?
Of course.
I start talking about aligning my kundalinis or whatever. and he is like, amused by this and says like, that's retarded. And one of these non-binary people who seem to be in charge of everything says like... Well, she softballs him, right?
Yeah.
They softball him, right? And they're like, well, I'm not going to go full SJW on you, but, don't use that word. It's offensive. And he tries to argue it, and it's really uncomfortable, so I leave for a while, and I go to the gallery opening, and I steal some of their free cheese platters that they have out.
Classic Ben, okay.
They have so much cheese. I ate so much free cheese at that gallery opening.
Oh, Ben, you remember
Honestly,
the
that was
Halloween
the best part
party
about
of the
it.
caramel apples? Do you remember the caramel apples, Ben? Oh,
I remember the caramel apples.
The caramel flowed like water that night. Yeah. Truly.
Yeah, a good thing it was before I went keto. There's a couple of like older guys and girls who are like like 40s and 50s. They seem to be a little more serious about it. They're fine. Yeah. They're fine. there's like one other like non-binary person who seems like kind of less grating and obnoxious than the other two. She seemed fine, but they seemed fine, but they didn't say much. They were like new. And then this guy who's next to me, it comes out that he's on the spectrum at some point. He says that, and then he literally tells me about how his thing that he's been working on for years is that he's just rewriting Naruto. He's just rewriting Naruto, and do I want to read his manuscript? And I say, I'm sorry, but I gotta go. I really, it's time. I think it's about time I should be hitting the old dusty trail.
I hate to say it, but in the real life, a lot of people just suck and are very unimpressive. Out in the world. Sure. It's unfortunate,
that's
but it's
fine.
true.
Listen. Like, when I used to go, there were these people, right? There were these same people, like, these guys who was just rewriting Naruto. Like, this ain't my first rodeo.
Yeah,
all right?
Of course.
Like, that doesn't bother me. It did bother me, I don't know. Like, before it seemed like they were more, like, mid-range age people, like 20s, early 30s. Now it was like there was like this one or two like college kids, and then like a bunch of like 40-somethings. And I'm like, maybe I won't give up just yet. Maybe this is just a slow day or something.
Yeah.
But like,
that's possible.
Because I remember there were a couple people that used to go that were pretty cool, and I was kind of disappointed that they weren't there anymore. But whatever, I'll stick it out.
Cool. So to conclude, you're going again.
Yeah, I'll be going back.
Ooh, okay, I'm looking forward to this.
Wait. There was oh shit. There was one other thing that I wanted to touch. Oh, okay. Interesting thing. It seems to me, from my like appraisal, that the only person there who is accomplished at all, right? The only person there who has like any sort of a presence or any sort of like a thing going is this person. Is this person? I don't know if I should say their name.
I guess if err on the side of caution, I suppose. If you, I don't know.
Well, you'll be giving them free publicity, though. You're praising them, aren't you?
I suppose.
Well, kinda. Well, I don't know. It's just weird.
I don't know.
Right?
Up to you, dog. Yeah.
All right, whatever. Their name is LB, right? They go by LB. They are non-binary
right now.
This is a different LB. The LB stands for Looney Brain. And okay, this person like wrote a book, right? It's like a prose book, but it has like illustrations in it, right? So it's like an illustrated, like, whatever. So they made this book. I don't know if they kickstarted it or whatever, but like they published it. I looked them up. They're not on Twitter, but they're on itch.io is where their work is or something.
Yeah,
okay. That's strange. That's strange, but whatever. That's fine. But they were talking about an article that someone had written about this person. And in the meeting, they were saying, they did this great article right up on you. It was like, about like the best comic artist you've never heard of. Right? That's what they said.
Sure.
And I'm like, okay. So I go online and I look up the name of the magazine that wrote this article up, and I look up the name of this person, and I find the article. But the full article is titled, "The Best Comic Artist You've Never Heard of is 8 People." And I read it, and it turns out that this person's shtick or their deal or their thing is that they have headmates or dissociative identity disorder.
Okay.
I think the article mentions dissociative identity disorder, and I think their work is about living with headmates, and that's their thing.
Just so headmates is like the fake version of actual dissociative identity disorder.
I don't know.
Okay,
I don't know what's fake and what's real anymore.
I'm happy to believe someone who really has this,
but this person's like got a Patreon and stuff.
Okay,
and like they're comparable to me. They're making like comparable amounts to me. They're my only competition, so I gotta kill them. I gotta take them out. So I can
Ben, you gotta use 8 bullets to take this guy out.
I gotta be the biggest fish in this tiny pond, or else what do I have to live for?
I know the feeling well. Well, that's interesting.
So that was my fucking Boston Comics Roundtable story. If you live in the Boston area, the listener, stay the hell away from me. Don't fucking show up at these things.
Yeah. In the show notes, you'll be able to read a page of this LB person, and I want to say before I post it, it looks like It's Also Ugly art.
No, it doesn't.
It does.
I mean, I'm curious now.
No, it looks like Erica Moen's art is what it looks like.
It reminds me of It's Also Ugly.
You don't even know who that is.
I don't. Is that an actor on The Room?
Yeah. Okay. You got me. Wait, is this in the audio channel?
Yeah.
I don't mean to be
Munchie,
mean.
I fucking hate you. This does not look like my art at all.
No, not your current art.
I'm legitimately insulted.
No,
I'm legitimately insulted.
Listen. Hold on. All right, I'm gonna get some. It's okay. This is not a judgment of your current art, or even to say that this is like really.
Oh wait,
bad.
did you say it's also ugly?
Yes.
Well, it's better than that.
It is better.
Okay.
Well, I mean, some of these look kind of
nice.
nice.
I'm not.
Like
no,
Miranda.
of course it doesn't look like the Vapors.
Okay.
You fucking joke. I said it's also ugly.
Okay. Yeah, you know what? You did, and I misheard. However, no. Erica Moen is the Ojoy sex toy girl, and this looks exactly like that.
Yeah, you're kind of right.
Slightly worse, but not even that much worse. It's just very, very similar.
You know,
there's like. You know how like DC and Marvel have like their house style? There's like a house indie style, which is this.
Yeah.
Like there's a ton of artists who do this kind of like work. It's very weird how that kind of just happens.
Well, maybe Erica Moen's not the only one.
I just have a quick question about. Am I supposed to? I'm just wondering. Like, am I to believe from reading like this comic that this is the actual author of this does indeed have a split personality and 8 people live inside of them, and this is a depiction of at least some of them? Is this the idea of like the comic? I'm reading the comic not necessarily just for the quality of it, but because it's being written by a person with a split personality or the dissociative identity disorder.
Know.
Nate, you know your guess is as good as mine on that.
Okay, just wondering.
You know, Ben, much like Sparta himself, you must stand against this legion alone. Every
he
Thursday.
really is a legion unto himself. Ain't
Look,
he? Good luck, Ben.
You know, I don't know. I'm not trying to be all like, look at this shit. Look at like everyone's all like, oh, it's all pandering to like queer identities and like it's all identity politics. It's all like mental illness. It's all like pandering to like some weird thing. Yeah. I don't care, right? Like if people like the stuff, then it's fine, right? There's no such thing as art that's not valid, right? Sure. It's all cool. It's all good, but it's very. It's just very
perhaps.
It's kind of like Tom was saying. Like it's just. I wonder if comics are even for like can a dang cis white guy can a downtrodden cis white guy
up in here,
can
please?
A downtrodden cis white guy even make it in this comics world, or is it just for people?
Well,
like
you know,
this?
Ben,
honestly like I look at it more and more. It seems like this is how you make it as comics. It's like is when you're too fucking disenfranchised and too much of a fucking weirdo. No offense for like traditional media,
I'm sure they wouldn't find
it or traditional publishing, then like this is what you get, and this is where you find your audience. I mean, they know where you'll be. They know where you'll be flushed out of the mainstream system and where you'll fucking come out the drain here, making sequential art like a fucking peasant.
Yeah. It's definitely become like a selling.
So that's all you deserve,
like,
you monsters.
I'm trans and I have people living in my brain. You know, to like preface your art with that. It gives you kind of a built-in audience. To me,
it's stacking the deck with like social conditions.
It's like, I mean, you know, when you feel like you're a fucking freak that no one understands, and then you see someone writing and they're writing, it's like, hey, me too. You know, I get it. That makes sense.
Yeah, but I feel like Ben, correct me if I'm wrong, but don't you feel like socially different from the normal people? Like you're an outcast in some form.
Yeah, but there's no label for what Ben is, because he's just
white. That's the problem. There's no label.
That's so. I was like,
you're not allowed to be an outcast if you're white and male.
Yeah.
There's no adjective. There's no well-defined like category or group or like mass noun for the way that I feel that I am a freak.
I'm just gonna put non-Star Wars fan in my Patreon.
Yeah. You know what? Actually, that's it. You solved the riddle.
You see that on someone's resume, hire this genius immediately. We need him on staff. We need this diversity of thought. Everyone else here is a damn Star Wars fan. This is the truly oppressed minority.
One day I'll find some sort of label to apply to myself that other people have already claimed, so I can be a part of a group identity.
Hey, follow this logic with me.
And have a built-in audience.
Follow this logic with me real quick.
But until that day,
I do believe that, just for example, like every sexuality is on a spectrum, and so one could relatively accurately assess that there's no such thing, probably, as like purely straight or purely gay or like anything like that. It's probably all on the spectrum, including me. So is it such a stretch for me to, like, on my college application or job thing or whatever it says, like, choose sexuality, for me to just check bisexual or pansexual? Like, no. I'll take that. I'll take that wider categorization. Is that such a crazy thing to do? Can I get the cred, please, ladies and gentlemen?
I don't think you can argue against it.
Yeah.
Do you really get cred for being bi?
No, I think the gays hate the bis for being
You're softballing with that one.
There's no downside to just telling people that you're bi.
Yeah.
Well,
the only thing that I know is that I know people who are gay don't like bi people because they can pass as normative, and so you actually kind of go lower if you're bi, because like even the minorities don't like you because you can pass as a majority, so you kind of get fucked from both ends.
God, you might come off as a little exotic to some extra square straight.
That's true. I mean, how many people like are? What about the fetishization of your girlfriend being a little bit into girls as well, or whatever.
Yeah,
was that. That's a thing. That's a thing.
You can benefit. There's some cred. There's some cred to be gained.
At least for women.
There's some social capital to be accrued.
A little bit. And why? And I mean, I'm just saying, why not accrue as much as possible? Every little bit you can get. Why not zoom it up like a classic zoomer tactic? I'm just saying. Makes sense.
I don't know. Well, I don't know.
Oh, who knows about any of this?
I don't know if you get.
Not I. Not I. Sir.
Anyway, so the point is that I go. It's not even that I felt alienated or anything. I didn't feel weird, like being surrounded by by the dregs of society,
individuals or something. Yeah.
I mean, they weren't all that. There were a lot of them, but they weren't all that or anything. And I didn't feel like I did not feel like I don't belong here. I'm a cis white guy.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't like that. No one was like making me, because like,
I mean, frankly, that comment about don't say retarded, that's what makes me feel uncomfortable in a group.
I'm get why people don't like when you use that word.
Sure, I get it. I just don't like it.
So like,
I just don't care.
And she wasn't even that aggressive about it. And like the guy should have just said sorry and not argued it. And I think he said he was. I mean, I think the reason he didn't do that because he was on the spectrum, and that's why you don't always know how to deal with a social situation. That takes a little bit of finessing. You don't have that finesse.
Who get a real pass on these issues, just for interest?
Who?
People with Tourette's. People with Tourette's get a complete blank slate pass. They get the N-word pass. They get the F-bomb pass. They get it all.
Hey, funny thing. I was just like looking at Twitch the other day.
Oh, are you talking about Sweet Anita, the girl with crazy Tourette's, who will say "fuck my cunt muffin" and all kinds of things? Just
I don't remember her name, but yeah, she would say stuff like that.
Probably Sweet Anita, yeah.
But she would just. I mean, that wasn't really that weird because she would just say that stuff like when she lost. She was playing Bennett Foddy, Getting Over It.
Yeah.
And just like when she lost Progress, she would just say these really weird swears, and like that's not weird to swear when you're losing at a game. But the thing is, she would click her tongue. She would click her tongue, and then she would do like sort of a bird whistle, like woo-hoo. Like I can't whistle, but you know what I mean,
like that.
She would do a little like bird, like tweet tweet, like sort of whistle thing.
Yep, that's her.
And she would just sort of do and I was just like that's funny.
I'm laughing.
It's kind of, well, I mean,
I'm laughing all the way to the bank. Baby.
It's. Well, I mean, she was like making a thing out of it, right? Like it's like, I guess it's kind of nice in a way that you have like a disability, but you like turned it into like a cute gimmick that has made you really popular on Twitch.
It's really bad of me, but sometimes when I watch people with Tourette's, I think that's fucking annoying. Like, get away from me, Tourette's person. You're annoying.
It might be cute to like watch a YouTube clip that's haha so funny. Imagine, I'm nothing against her or anybody with it, but like imagine living with that. It's gonna get annoying and
like I know it's bad because they can't help it, obviously. But I would not want to be around that person for 5 minutes. Ever.
And that probably is why for her, she like couldn't get a job because like her Tourette's is like, I don't know how advanced it is, but like she'll like slap people's asses when they bend over, and apparently she can't control it. So
wait, what?
That's what she said. She'll like hump people's ass. She will hump them. if they are bent over.
That sounds like she's just using her disability to her advantage. That sounds like...
I mean, that's what she said. I don't know. I assume it's legit.
I don't... Okay, well, maybe I didn't...
That sounds like she was... She said one day, like,
bio.
okay, if I have to live with this, like, I can't stop swearing thing, then I'm at least going to come up with something that I can, like, I also can't help touching asses and humping people. That's part of it, too, guys.
Well, like, if this was, like, a man, and, like, an ugly man, I mean, she's a cute girl, basically, so I feel like it feels far less
if this were a man, he'd probably be locked up. Let's just be honest.
I mean, maybe. Certainly likely. But, I mean,
he would probably be, like, I don't know. People would treat him differently.
I'm just saying, like, what if she? I actually have not heard her make any like racial epithets or anything like that. But like, what if her take was just to say like the N-word or something?
With like Tourette's, if a man just streamed with, all he would get is like, "You're an autistic piece of shit. You suck. You're retarded. Go die."
Probably. I mean, maybe if it was really put together. I mean, she's a cute girl. You know, she's looks nice. Good skin. I don't know. Looks normal. And then she has like a thing. White as can be. Oh, thank God. So that's...
I mean, imagine... No, like, for real, like, it'd probably be a lot harder. It'd be a lot harder on her if she wasn't white.
I mean, I suppose. I imagine so. But I mean, in the capacity of, like, judging how, like, dangerous she is? Like, why would that matter on Twitch? Because that's what she's doing. Maybe, if you mean in general in, like, her life, I suppose.
You just get more shit. You just get more shit, and people use it as an excuse to like fuck with you.
I mean, I'm sure that's true.
If they want to.
That's probably fair to say. Okay, but the point is, I don't know what the point is. Her story. Oh, you know what? I heard one thing that she said though. That was like the reason she Twitches streams is because like it's hard for someone with Tourette's to get a job, and like when she was younger, because like she has all these impulses she can't control, she would have to do jobs that like allow her to be alone. So she would like walk down by the beach and like gather sea glass, and then would go to like the road or something, and
she would sell seashells by the seashore.
That's exactly correct. And I was just thinking to myself, like, wow, what an entrepreneurial spirit.
Yeah,
what just
she
like
found
an adapt
a place
and overcome.
Where her disability was celebrated instead of shunned.
Yeah. I mean,
it's like if you're a woman with a beard, you don't get to go work at like a regular people place. You got to go to the circus where they want a bearded lady. They need one.
Yeah.
They have a
Sometimes you gotta go
ladies.
Where everybody knows.
And streaming and YouTube.
The circus,
is all
also known as Twitch.
Yeah, that's the circus of the modern age.
That's.
I wonder if there are like bearded lady Twitch streamers. I'll bet there are bearded ladies that stream on Twitch.
Probably.
You know what I mean?
I mean, I suppose with the rise
streams.
of the trans, awareness, there's probably quite a few.
No, I'm not talking about a trans thing. You know, they had bearded ladies in the circus.
No,
back
I'm
in the
with
day.
you. I'm with you. I'm just saying.
Now they've
that's
probably migrated to Twitch.
That's probably more common than ever. Considering
that's where people go to get their entertainment now.
You ain't wrong.
I feel like we just accidentally created a Doug Stanhope bit.
Wait a minute. Now I'm wondering though. Yeah. Trans culture, like gender culture being what it is, I wonder if bearded ladies just have like a whole different like outlook now. I wonder if that's. I wonder if they would probably just go ahead and identify as a man.
Certainly, I mean, who like do we know the specific like gender characteristics of the bearded ladies?
I'll bet some do. But I'll bet not all of them do. In fact, guarantee not all of them do. Some people are probably just like, I'm a woman and I got a beard and it happens and don't even worry about it. And follow me on twitch.tv /
Ben Sane.
Ben Sane.
All right, well, whatever. Enough of this bullshit. We can go on forever. Why don't we get to the voicemails already?
Wait, hold on.
Unless somebody else
got
has
a topic I wanted to bring up. There's one topic I wanted to bring up that I want to ask Tom. Because me and Ben, on the Endless War Anniversary stream, we played a AZUMI game.
Oh yeah, did you know about that?
I did not know about that.
Yeah. We played AZUMI. It was really cool.
Ben sucked at it. It wasn't good at it.
Hey Tom, no, I don't suck. Your fucking controls are fucking sloppy.
Yeah.
It's fucking floaty. It feels like I'm walking on ice all the time.
Ben had to get backseat gamed to play the game.
Okay.
Slippery controls. That's all I have to say.
Where is the AZUMI game going from here? What's the future of it look like? I know you've talked to me. I don't know if you've said it on anywhere, probably on IM Games, but you said you've thought about making like a 3D game. Do you have any plans for that now? This is like a proof of concept in a way. Do you want to work in the same just build levels on the same engine all with all the assets you've made? Just have a sequel, or what are you thinking?
Yeah, I mean, it really depends on the reception of the game, because it's only been out for a couple days, I think, maybe a little less than a week at this point, and I'm still doing a little bit of updates and shit. That I increased the reach of the sword due to feedback from the voicemail in the last episode and things like that. So I did a little bit of tweaking here and there. But I mean, if it gets big and people are really into it, I'll probably start building it out and adding more levels. But the end goal has always been to make a 3D character action game with AZUMI and get the knowledge to do all that, which is insanely complicated and over the top, and will take years and years and years to develop if the people I'm looking at who are doing things like that is any indication to go by. So I got to learn more about 3D modeling to make better models that'll animate and deform better, and then you got to learn animation and rigging and how to get the skeletons and stuff, and then you got to learn all the coding, because that's and then it's just a huge fucking process to do a full 3D game. The engine I did AZUMI in was not real programming, so you can do it really quickly. That's why I was able to do it in 2 or 3 months to get it built, the groundwork of it. So, at this point, I could go on to build a full game with it, because the majority of, the foundation's there. It's just a matter of building more enemies and building more levels. So I could probably do a game a full game with that style, not super quickly, but most of it would just be, conceptual work of just, how do I want the levels to be, as opposed to, having to learn more things to make it happen.
Yeah, level design.
So, yeah, I don't really know.
So obviously, okay, so the end goal is a 3D game, but obviously there needs to be a big leap in your ability.
Wait.
Exactly.
Wait, the end goal is a 3D game, not a 2D platformer?
Yeah, I mean, obviously this project was just a learning experience. Yeah. But I have a whole big design document for the final 3D game, and I know the entire story and all the characters and all that shit.
Cool. So the question is, and I doubt it's the case, but is this the last we'll see of AZUMI before you just go away into a cave and read a bunch of 3D modeling textbooks and how to code?
Pull a Devu.
Yeah, pull a Devu.
I don't think I can pull a Devu just because...
Pull a Devu. Pull a Devu.
I've got Devu you can pull. Whips out fucking huge cock bigger than his normal.
God.
Call
I thought you were just going to say whips out huge Devu.
Yeah. I mean,
well,
that's why I call my meme.
I would go full Devu if I had money, but I don't. Right. So, go full Devu would mean work a full-time 40-hour job and then just not talk to anybody and do game stuff on the side. I make no money.
It's a solid plan to do such a thing.
So, I don't know. I just feel like Devu made this fucking amazingly sick game, and it's great, and everyone should play Automatus if they haven't already.
Yep.
But
agreed.
The problem with the going full Devu is that you have no base to be your evangelist to kind of get it out there. And
Devu has a gig working for Digi, of course, that he does on the side the whole time.
Right.
So,
But what I mean is that Devu, because Devu doesn't have
that's a sweetheart deal though.
It is a good deal, but because Devu has no online presence really anymore, by his own design, when Automatus dropped, it was basically up to us to let people know it existed.
That's true.
And I would want any project that I do to have some semblance of success. So it's not a matter of just building a big 3D game. It's also building a brand around that game. So when it happens, people give a fuck.
That's
and that requires constantly sucking the social cock and making sure people don't forget about you. So you can't just do one thing. Really, unless you're supremely god tier talented, which I don't think I'm at that skill level yet.
You know what, Tom? I think I'm gonna argue with you on this, because I think that a trap that I fall into is spending too much time on, sort of ancillary side things, just trying to keep up to date with people, keep in the public eye, be streaming on Twitch, be tweeting on Twitter, liking people's tweets, you know, being on this fucking show or whatever, you know? And, like, I don't know. I'm like, I've done a lot of it, and I wonder, like, how much does it, like, past a certain point, how much does it really do? Like,
do you think,
like, I don't, I don't think that being on the show anymore is getting my name any more out there than, like, it already is. You know what I mean?
It's both theoretically, if you dropped off, perhaps that number would recede somewhat. I mean,
I wonder, like, if
I think
I don't think if you just worked on the Vapors and didn't talk to us and didn't do any of that shit and just worked on the comic, I don't think if you did a Kickstarter, it probably would have succeeded as quickly as it did, or if at all. Well, just because your audience would have been much smaller.
I mean, what I would do, I think there's a third path here. I like theoretically of ghosting and then just releasing it, or constantly maybe hyping it up or just keeping people aware. Like, I'm a big believer in like basically like release parties, like a pomp and circumstance. I mean, this is kind of what like Weagwa 1. Like when I did Mia Mafva, I mean, like that. Like, I prepared media to make it an event, and I think people, I prepared a theme song ahead of time, and I prepared, art for, obviously you've done that already, but, like, something, and I am aware that's totally different from, like, a comic release or, like, a game release, a totally different thing, but, I would do something along those lines. Maybe, like, construct a website for it, and to, like, not even when the game releases, but, like, to let people know the game will release on this day. Maybe it's already ready. Maybe it's... this is why, they announce, Final Fantasy 15, like, 8-10 billion years before it actually comes out or whatever. Then, they keep people interested with trailers.
A good strategy for working on a big project is going to take years and years, because I follow tons of indie game devs at this point.
And obviously we don't have the resources for all that jazz. So.
It's just documenting your progress, And, that becomes your content. Like, if you just let everybody know what you're working on daily... there's an artist, Minions Art. She's working on a game called Astrocat, and I've been following her for like 2 years, and I don't even know how much progress, if any, has been made. I just know that it's being worked on. Okay. And they do that in tutorials and make thousands of dollars on Patreon.
Or how about our beloved Yandere dev, who I don't seems to have fallen into a bit of a trap of perpetual game development.
Someone who decided to not learn about proper programming and is getting huge flack for it.
He has said that he's improved it. I'll take his word for it.
Wait, who's Yandere?
He's making Yandere Simulator.
Yandere Simulator.
It's like a
question.
I don't know. It's a game that people liked and streamed on Twitch and on YouTube. It actually got banned from Twitch because it's too edgy,
too saucy.
Yeah, that's correct.
Really? There's like I guess. Maybe. I don't think
appealed,
it's that graphically...
but they said no, they don't want it on Twitch. So
God, disgusting.
I mean, he's been through some issues, but
I'm gonna get on D-Live.
Not even to shit on the model, but like it does seem like a potential trap. Like, I don't know, when you're a politician, the trap is to like be corrupt or whatever. When you are a game developer using crowdfunding to support ongoing development of your game, there's probably going to be some pressures to like, why rush it? This is going pretty well. I'll just sit here and maybe goof off a little bit, not work as hard. But to the contrary, at that point, there also is going to be unbelievable pressure on you all the time to get it done, and that's also, I'm just saying, it's a lot of negative.
That for me, that far outweighs because like for me, my brain works so like if I'm not releasing something, I am a failure.
Once you said that there will be a game, my only question for the developer from that moment on is, when do I get to play it? I don't care about anything else. I want to play this game that's been prophesized and promised to me. So it's going to be a tricky spot. Same with like a movie, I guess, or a anime. When can I watch it?
It's tough because like you're doing like if I could, I would love, because like there's a couple options. I could go full Devu and just make a big 3D game and just like drop off the face of the earth and just do nothing but CG cookie tutorials for the next like year and a half. Become God and just start building this huge game, because that's like what M. Strange does, right? And he's like my big like inspiration artist guy. He's been working on this big platformer game for years, and like every like 7 or 8 months he'll resurface and be like, here's a vlog, okay, bye, and that's it. And like I don't know what he does. I don't know how he makes money. Does he have like a
full-time job? He must, right?
I don't know. He doesn't. He's never talked about finances, even when I press him, because I've talked to him one-on-one before, and he refuses to answer that question about how he makes money.
Does he crowdfund development of his games or anything?
No, he's never crowdfunded ever.
So he must in some
there has to be something, right? But he just refuses to like, let anybody know how it's done. Probably to like keep his air of mystique up. Because he just seems like this guy who like fishes doll heads out of gutters and makes movies about them, because that's what literally happened with his first movie. But Like, that's one option. Another option would be to keep making smaller projects, build up the brand, and get it to a point where, like, if I asked for, like, hey, I want a programmer and a soundtrack designer and, like, work on a team with a bunch of people to make a big game, and I have the clout to actually attract people to do that, then I could offload a lot of that work and focus on, like, the creative part that I'd, like, actually enjoy the most, which is like
tough,
making
though.
models.
That's a long game, so
right. It's all a long game. Like, to make a full 3D action game, even if it's just like at PS2 level, like a PS2 game still costs millions of dollars to make.
Back in the day, those took full development teams to make. So
and now you're doing it by yourself. So you're like, it's probably like a 5+ year project, easy, and that's after I've learned everything. So like, it's just like such a moonshot project. I don't even have enough skills to know to quantify it yet.
I know what I'm
a boy with a dream, that's it.
I know what I would do, and it's because what I did do, like I'd work a full-time job or whatever and just like do it on the side. I don't, but that's just me. I would prioritize like my financial stability with the goal of eventually being it once like I've checked my boxes.
Oh, Nate, you and your ridiculous dreams about financial stability. You and your crazy
that literally
schemes.
seems like more of a moonshot than making a video game to me at this point.
Yeah,
I can't even imagine.
I'm just saying, it seems like our generation has just said like, fuck life. I'm just gonna make art, and if I die, or I don't know, like you guys aren't.
That's
like
literally what I said. I think I've literally said that.
Yeah, I think
like in the mirror, like looking at myself, like peeling down my eyelids to look at at my red eyes and stuff.
Yeah.
And like shaking dandruff out of my hair. I've been like, fuck life. I'm just gonna make art, and if I die,
I read a thing about that from some sociologist guy. And I don't remember the specifics. I'm probably going to mangle this, but he had this theory that like the last 4 generations have perfectly mirrored the 4 generations before them, and how it sort of goes in cycles. How like you have a generation who's all entrepreneurial, and then a generation that's all political, and then a generation that sort of detaches and becomes artists, and then a generation after that sort of does whatever the fuck, and how it mirrors. And so and like I think like the millennials were like compared to like sort of like I don't fucking remember, like the lost generation from like the 30s, like before World War II.
Yeah, okay.
And the Zoomers, the new silent generation.
No, they're not. That's fucking fake news.
Oh, okay. I mean, I think they might be the greatest generation, the Zoomers.
But it was an interesting thing. So whatever.
I mean,
try to find that mysterious thing that may or may not exist.
I would read that article. Because that does sound it doesn't surprise me that like
it seems like
because like each generation is a response to the last one. In a way. So yeah.
I mean, because everybody says that like go on.
The social media thing. I had a thing I wanted to say that.
It's right here. I found it. Sorry.
Okay, link it in the links.
Yeah, link that shit while I speak.
The Strauss-Howe generational theory, and I'll link it.
Word.
Cool.
The social media presence thing, and like either social media or like working full time on the thing, going a full devu, which I like this phrase. I don't know how he will feel about that.
Doesn't matter. Death of the author.
Yeah.
Death of the subject.
I feel like so much.
Fuck yeah.
Death of the victim. I feel like so much of like having a social media presence is like the more you put into it with the less you have to show while you're into it, the less effective it will be. Like if you have one game and you build your social media presence, making a brand will be so much easier than if you have a game in development or no game and you try to build a social media presence, because people will want to follow you, but you'll need to have something, and so you'll have to create something for them to gather around, even if that is just like you as like a personality or a vlogger or whatever. So, but then they will become accustomed to knowing that thing rather than what you actually want them to like in the future, which is your products, your games, your art, your webcomics and stuff. So the more stuff you already have, doesn't matter whether it's like the best thing you'll ever make or your magnum opus, the more stuff that you can link to them when you do the social media, or like a press tour, like how people go on to to talk shows and say, yeah, I got a book out. You know, that's the sort of thing I think is the best way to do it, is to only be social when you have something to tell everyone.
And
and if you...
You know, it's the perfect example, like the on that far side of the spectrum, who gravitated from content, less social media, and then just completely flipped. Spoonie, of course, is drifted over time and just flipped those two to being zero content, 100% social media interaction. That is, you know, the most taxing on the viewer's patience, probably.
I mean, that's kind of different because I don't know what Spoonie wants. I assume he just wants to live.
He wants to kill Donald Trump, as I understand it, and God bless him in his quest.
Like, he clearly doesn't want to make videos anymore, but he's an internet person now, so it's kind of difficult for him to leave that. But like, I feel like it would be worse to build a following that likes you for certain things, and then when you release you finally have, you know, you've spent half your time social media, half your time on the thing, so it's taken twice as long, and now you finally released it, and your audience, they're not necessarily going to care about the thing because they know you for something else.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And, you know, to get perfectly real on this subject, like, I'm perfectly aware of kind of how I'm taxing the patience of my audience, many of whom have expressed in no uncertain terms, like, okay, Nate, Gurren Lagann reviews are really good. When's the next, like, good project coming? We're all patiently waiting. Ghost in the Shell was how many years ago that was announced? Any day now would be real nice, Nate. So I mean, I feel this tension as well.
I mean, in the like, if it continues in whatever fashion, your audience will be comprised primarily of people who care about Wiagawa, and when you drop a big video, they're gonna watch it a little bit, but it's not gonna be the thing they were craving.
Right. So you got to think smartly about, like, what kind of audience you want to build, and are you doing that? With your shit. So yeah, it's a good point.
Yeah, I mean, the issue, like, I think. I mean, Nate, I mean, you can probably relate on this because of what you started doing with those big reviews, is that, like, in a perfect world, you could do that and be fine, you know? But, like, if you're trying to, like, build an audience online, like, everybody now with social has, like, the attention span of, like, a goldfish. Like, if you're not, like, throwing your face in their face and, like, letting them remember that you exist, they'll just move on to something else, because, like, no one's starved for content, you know? So, like, unless you're at, like, the super high top tier, like, top 5% of just, like, raw ability that every time you do something, it's like a fucking bomb going off in the social media landscape, like, you can't really just, like, disappear and only come back, like, every year or so with something.
That's
like,
true.
It's not good enough. You will be forgotten.
I've been working full time the entire time I've been doing it now, but, like, well, maybe not the very beginning, but close to it. And like, those original projects while I was working, like, took 6 months to make. So, like, yeah, that's totally unsustainable for that. Although, I mean, I still believe that, like, there's guys like JonTron's videos. I know he's already got a big following, but, like, they get kind of an unbelievable amount of views when one drops. And I think people just love the production value. But you know what? Never mind. He's a terrible example because, like, he's already basically made it and people already love him.
I mean, you know, there was a time when you could do that and get away with it. I just think starting now, like, it's impossible.
I don't think it's impossible, but I think the bar is significantly higher.
Yeah, it's very, very, very difficult. And, like, so I'm just, like, being realistic with myself. It's like, I don't have that kind of ability. You know, I'm not that good yet. So I would have to either, you know, get a job, which is not as cut and dry as it sounds, just because the way my student loans are, when I get a job, I'll automatically lose over half my paycheck just to increase bills. So, like, I have to juggle the fact of, like, and then my tax return, I start owing way more on my taxes. Because, like, there's just the way taxes work with, like, some self-employed income on top of, like, working a job. Because, like, when I did nothing but do Patreon and made, like, no money, I got money back. But the next year when I worked full-time for, like, 2/3 of the year, I owed, like, $3,000. So, like, doing all that math out, it's like, getting a job might actually make me poorer and not richer, as fucking weird as that sounds. Yeah. So, like it's and you're not going to figure it out for, like, a year until you get fucked on that. So it's a clusterfuck. It's really a real trap mess.
At the bottom of the income tiers there.
Like, I just actually yesterday I have, like, this huge list of, like, all this different, like, content I would have to make, like podcasts and videos and, like, a YouTube channel and, like, all this stuff on top of making the game just to, like, be relevant and, like, have people not forget. And it's just, like, it's a huge undertaking. Like, you have to be a brand today.
You know,
really
I'll just come out and say it. Tom, I think you should stay on the podcast here. I think that's going great. I'm happy to have you, I think most of us are. Like, if I had to personally give you my recommendation, I would say find some decent job and do it on the side. And then you have total freedom. Like, I think the podcast keeps you relatively in the public eye. You know, hopefully you can earn enough to escape that trap. Again, I have no idea. Maybe I'm talking out of my ass.
Well,
One could hope.
He was just talking about getting a job making
right, but like, so I don't like. He's got a degree in graphic design or something. There's probably something out there that's pays well. I don't know. Maybe I'm totally wrong, and there is no opportunity for it.
I keep thinking about what if I tried to land a job doing something at like a studio or something, or what if I could like storyboard something. That'd be cool. I have no idea where to even begin looking for something.
I mean, I've been thinking about, because like I have to learn programming anyway, and I was like, I actually asked on Twitter yesterday, like, because I know Python is a really in demand language. So if I learn Python and get a programming job, like I'd probably be able to like escape the bell curve and actually like get a net positive if I was doing something beyond like flipping burgers or whatever.
Yeah, that's the goal.
Oh my god. As opposed to escaping the bell curve, which you want to do, as it says now, you're begging people to ring that bell. The bell is omnipresent in your life, but it just depends on how you treat it. If you want to escape the bell curve, then you get a job. But if you want to stay in presence, ring that fucking bell below this video right goddamn now, everyone.
We're all trapped under that bell.
Ain't that the truth?
Ring that
came crashing down on us.
Well, I don't know, Tom. I hope I didn't sound like I don't know. I don't mean to.
I mean, I think about all this all the time.
Yeah,
okay. It's always like juggling all these different
options. The calculation is, it would be great to have a job if it would make things better.
Right. That's pretty much my point. Yeah.
Well, if it would make things better.
Right.
It might not.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Life's hard. We're all gonna die.
Hey viewers, tell me where I should apply to be like a storyboarder or something.
Yeah, what do you got, people?
Dude, fucking do something.
StevenUniverse.com.
Do something useful for once.
You know, this goes against a lot that's been built up in the PCP. Well, maybe not. I'm sure all of you guys will like it, but I'm like excited to have like a normal job. I think that will be cool, at least to do for a while, that like pertains to art in some way. I think that'll be really nice, and I'm just looking forward to it. Is all I gotta say.
I get excited thinking about the prospect of being like a storyboarder. I think if I could have a job for like a studio, I would like, or like a real job. Like that's what I would want to do. Mm-hmm. I think that sounds great, and I know people do it, but like, you know, I think those jobs are really in demand.
Yeah.
Especially like for like a real
lot
studio.
Of CalArt graduates out there looking to draw some
a whole bunch of people with more art education, with more degrees.
Well, you know, Ben,
the
degree might be to somebody's edge, but a website that hosts one's body of work could, I don't know, perhaps that's even an evening factor if you've got actual work.
It can't hurt, right?
Certainly.
It can't hurt.
Certainly not.
No, of course not.
Anything? I mean, I don't know. If I was hiring, I would just want to see that they like had like, I don't know, who's better.
That's what they say. That's what they say. Like, a degree doesn't mean anything if your portfolio isn't impressive.
Especially
like,
with
it's
art,
all about
right?
the portfolio.
Yeah.
Like, it's all about. When it comes to the art, I hear that it's all about the portfolio.
It's all about the portfolio, and it's also not in like the interview sense, like whether you land a job, but in order to get into that interview, it's more important to have like connections. You know,
I wouldn't want anybody
to think
the actual
degree itself does not help you.
I mean, I'm just saying,
having the people like know like where to go and what to do.
Too bad my only connections are you freaks.
That's fair. Although, I mean, like theoretically, if I was like applying for like a managerial position somewhere, you know what I'd do? I would cite my experience, like I'm not running purely, but like doing the account, like quote unquote running the PCP, like getting everybody together for calls, doing all the accountant work, distributing pay like on a relatively consistent basis, off a couple days here and there. But and I'd like to think that people would like, I would show them the income like that's been generated, and then when people are like, whoa, there's actually like some decent money here. This isn't like a little bullshit baby diaper poo pee adventure you're having on the internet here. I'd say,
I wouldn't say that it isn't that.
Okay,
let's not go overboard.
That's fair, but it's just classic instant laughter. That's all you got to do, ladies and gentlemen. Put that down in your comedy portfolio. Put that on your resume. I mean, so I'm just, my point is like
for your application to clown college.
Yeah, like all the stuff that
I'm
we've
sure
done
you're
here,
filling out right now,
running the show for years and like running our own YouTube channels and all that stuff. I like to think that it could all be leveraged as to show that at the very least that we're go-getters in various capacities.
Oh, yeah.
You know, so
I often sell myself short when like explaining to people what I've done. Like I brush over the internet stuff. When I really shouldn't. I should think of like a way to say it more normally.
I think that's the struggle, because the amount of work I have put into my YouTubing stuff is so disproportionately high compared to every other pursuit I've pursued in my life that like an employer should know that like you have that kind of force.
I mean, you just have to be honest with yourself and just be like, I'm running a business. Like, I am an entrepreneur. And
like you always see like that guy who like talks himself up all the time, and like you kind of think he's a cock and he's annoying. He's like, oh, I did this and I did that. Like I was watching an interview with Enzo Amore, who's like a wrestler. Yeah. And he was just talking about like everything he's got going on, like super positive about everything. Like, I'm the coolest guy in the world, man. I can do this and I can like wow, that's a lot of accolades he's building himself up as having. But then like when I think about it, I'm like, wait a minute, who's to say I couldn't just say that about myself and give myself all those accolades that I do have? I have done a lot of cool stuff. I just never say, because I never like act proud of it, because it's
that's the thing. It's all about the way you sell it.
Is shameful. But if I wanted to, I could just as easily go around and just like train my brain to be more of like a go around every day like, hey, it's me, I'm this guy and I do this thing, and isn't that fucking cool? Instead I go around every day and I'm like, don't fucking talk to me, leave me the fuck alone, who the fuck are you, get out of my fucking way.
I mean, you know what this reminds me of? It reminds me of a little bit thing I've heard Tim Pool say a few times, which is like, just when it comes to selling, like, here, I got something to sell you guys. Hydric acid. Please sign my petition. Hydric acid has been known to kill millions over countless lives. It poisons, or people have been known to ingest it and die over a certain amount. It's ruining environments in certain locations. It's displacing entire populations, and hydric acid is water. So let's ban water. Let's ban hydric acid. Boom. I got you all to sign the petition. You've been finessed and out-geniused by me because I'm just talking bullshit.
Is it dihydrogen monoxide?
That's the one. It's no good. It's no good for anybody. But it sounds scary because it's got the word acid in it, and all those things are generally true. I mean, salesmanship is everything for something like that. I think our whole generation needs to talk itself up more. And, like, there's a lot of, like, I want to die jokes about millennials and stuff. And this is why I roast. I feel such strong contempt for every Twitter user with a self-depreciating Twitter bio. When I see that, they're like, I want to die. I have no skills.
But
I'm
like,
worthless.
It's at the point where you almost have to. Like, there's a self-deprecation economy. You have to put yourself down, or else people say that you're an egomaniac and an asshole.
I mean, people make that claim about me, too. I am called the best guy ever, but I don't know. I think I've escaped the trap.
If you talk yourself up and talk proudly about yourself at all.
The only people who hate that I call myself...
Enzo Amore, who I was watching his interview being like, man, this guy's he's done a lot of cool shit. People hate him because he has the nerve to say, yeah, I'm great, I do great shit. What? You can't do it.
You know who hates them?
Yeah.
Fucking losers. If you're hated by losers, who fucking cares?
I mean, but that's the thing. Fair. You should care because there are more losers than there are not losers.
Losers can still be customers.
The world is made of losers. Losers are the majority. What they think about you is all that fucking matters in life because they can and will destroy you.
All you have to do is get the losers to agree with you. I mean,
as soon as the internet was created, as soon as social media became a thing, the world was irreparably taken over and co-opted by losers. Losers are the driving force of all society. Sure. They're the driving force of your life. They will destroy you if they deem that you're not as much of a loser as them.
But this guy is successful, right? Like, he's clear, he's got all this shit going on and it is working. So, like, how effective is the cries of the loser masses, other than, like, a smear campaign before they... like, oh, this guy we got to take down next. You know, like, again, attention span is like non-existent.
Because everybody hates him. I mean, yeah, but like, if enough people hate you, then they can just fucking lie about you, and then that's it. It doesn't matter what you've done. Your career is fucking over.
Enough people, yes. But, I mean, if you are able to build yourself enough of a shield to avoid that, that's one thing. I mean, for me, the biggest hate I feel like I've ever gotten was on my Fairy Tale is Dead, Time to Dance on the Grave. That's the only time I really remember when people, to this day, still get mad at me for shitting on Fairy Tale and being so excited that it is dead. and this thrills me. And they're like, best guy ever, more like worst guy ever. Am I right, ladies and gentlemen of the jury?
You should be proud. You should be proud to have shat on
I feel proud. I feel very much proud.
Good.
But
no, don't let anyone take that away from you.
Oh no, certainly not. But that's the thing. If I don't know, let's say I made a video saying I love Star Wars: The Last Jedi. It's my favorite movie, and it makes me feel good that the things of this movie happened, these events transpired, then you get people being like, yeah, good man, you are the best guy ever.
You can be like that kind of guy who you can just be like, oh, I don't mind the haters, I don't pay attention to them, they don't matter. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can tell yourself that, and you can even believe that, but it's not true. The haters do matter. If everyone fucking thinks something about you, then that's you. That becomes the truth.
The haters matter,
everyone.
but I object. I feel this about myself. I just don't feel I generate enough haters for it to be a problem, and that's at least partially by design. I do try to not come off like an asshole all the time. So that's a tactic one can take. Perhaps it's inauthentic to some people though, and they just are more acrid in their day-to-days. So maybe that doesn't work for everybody to still feel like they're really being themselves. But I just don't feel like I get that much hatred or anger on the internet, because I'm relatively easy to talk to or get along with. I don't know. Tepid.
I was at this thing. I was at this comics thing, and they were like, new people introduce yourselves, and it got to me, and I'm like, I could what do I say? I say should I say I'm on a podcast? Should I say I got I'm on Twitter? I got thousands of Twitter followers. Should I say
I got a comic at?
Well, I could say I had a website, or could I say, I was thinking maybe I should mention that, I did the successful Kickstarter last year, that's a thing, that'd probably be around. And finally, I was just I don't want to, I was like, they'll find, what, maybe they'll find out about this later, better to undersell now and have them, learn impressive stuff later or stuff that might impress them later. So I was just my name's Ben Saint, I make comics on the internet, I draw and I write, and I make comics on the internet, and that was my whole thing.
And I was where's the line between
more can come out later. More info can come to light at a future date.
Mm-hmm. Where is the line between being proud of yourself and being
if I deem them worthy?
Arrogant?
It's in the mind of the beholder, I guess.
Yeah, and everyone's different, and everyone's stupid.
Yeah, well,
it's just hopeless. You're not allowed to be proud of yourself. Is my point. You're just not allowed to have any pride in anything you do at all, or else you're an egomaniac and you're an asshole and you're a piece of shit and I
definitely feel this a lot, because I find I do this to myself. Mm-hmm. I always, my brain just kind of mentally downplays everything I do as a defense mechanism, because raw gross egotism revolts me so much, and so I overcompensate to make sure I don't come off as that, but then I just come off as pathetic. So it's you got to find that balance.
That's the eternal
for your own
quest,
self, if nothing else.
I feel the opposite. I want
tough.
Everyone to be an egomaniac. I want people to just be... I want everyone to just be I'm great. I want to be confident. I want to have pride. Why won't you fucking losers like me? Why do people
it's the most powerful
have to drag
thing.
everybody down to your fucking level? You worthless fucking crabs. You pieces of shit. You're ruining
if you could tell me attitude that
if you could give me a choice between do you want skill or do you want confidence, I would absolutely take confidence, because if I was confident, I would believe that I could build my skills, and I would follow through and actually do it. Confidence is the most powerful weapon in the entire world, and it sucks that mine's not up to par. Yeah,
I suppose.
No, I feel like
hey guys,
I feel like
go
I'm
to
naturally,
apsadventures.site to read a really good webcomic, Balejape, with
really
fucking animation coming out very soon. It's really good, and I like it.
That's such a dangerous game to be saying stuff like that.
Why?
I don't know. All right.
I see.
The animation coming out soon, dangerous, understandable, but it is it's not going to take. I've been saying, Spelljape's nearly done for a long time, but I didn't realize what I was going to do at the end when I first started saying that, and it has changed. But now it has got to the point where half the line art, half the keyframes and in-betweens are done, and it will take relatively less time to finish the second half of it and then color it in.
All right, well, cool.
I'm thinking a month and maybe a month from when I say this, and it'll be out. I just like to keep mentioning that I have a webcomic, because I feel like people, I appear on podcasts, and people just don't really know.
It's
that I do that.
It's good. It's good to plug it.
Yeah, it definitely feels like obscure hippo. It's that. I don't know. I feel like it goes back to sort of the thing with the website where it's like AVS Adventure. That just sounds like Hippo one day decided to do it for fun and he made it like a Homestuck clone because it would be funny to do on stream and people don't like take it seriously. I feel like you got to push it more for people to and try to make it more independent.
They'll take it seriously when they see the animation because it is sick, and a lot of the shots I've already finished are like, oh, that's so good.
How exciting!
They will.
Talking about confidence.
That's the good thing right there. Yeah, talking up good stuff you've done. I mean, it's not done yet, obviously, but no, it will be. He's working on it right now. I mean, I derive almost all of my confidence in life from the fact that I have done the things. And I just think back to, like, I don't know, like when I was younger, it's like, man, like, I don't know, I talk to this girl, I don't know if she's going to like me. And then I'm like, oh yeah, remember that time I fucked that bitch? I could do that again. Let's just talk to this girl, no problem. And then I do, and, it's okay. And I'm not saying that makes it super easy or anything, but it's just like, it's like, I just think back to when I did the thing that I'm about to do before.
When I think back to the things that I've done, I think, oh God, I'll never be able to do that again. Oh,
maybe that's the difference right there. It's like, it's the focus on the positive or the negative. I don't know.
I feel like I was born with like a natural confidence. Like, I think I've always just naturally been confident, but like, my entire life, all anyone's ever wanted to do is just crush that confidence out of me. And my whole life, I've had to stifle myself and stifle my true potential and my true greatness to try and fit in with the rest of the fucking meat sacks walking around here who just can't handle anyone being proud of themselves for anything. I just want all human beings to die. Every single one of them. Because I'm sick of them. I'm sick of them holding me back, holding each other back. That's all they're good for. They're just worthless. Human beings are just worthless and should all die.
Fair enough, but you know who's got comments and doesn't deserve to die? Commenters on my Galco video, such as the one who just commented, who left this comment. Galco-chan, who I praise endlessly in the video. Galco-chan is literally me, just in blonde. It makes me happy to finally have an anime representation. This person has the right kind of confidence to make it in this world. They see themselves as a shining god. All I do is endlessly talk up how wonderful Galco is, and here's a person like, it's literally me! Incredible. Just stupendous as always, YouTube commenter. With that said...
Voicemail!
Let's move on to voicemails. Munchie, Tom, I just want to say, hey, I gotta go in like 40 minutes.
Didn't get... What?
I said I gotta go in like 40 minutes, so I would love to move on to voicemails.
Yeah, I just want to get a yes or no answer for Tom. I feel like I asked this question, but I didn't get an answer. So, are you continuing 2D AZUMI in any way? Like, are you gonna make a game? Yes or no?
Okay.
Or undecided.
Or undecided.
Wow, that's not a big small. It's not as small as I imagined it was.
Tom?
What?
I think Tom stepped away. He must have stepped away for a minute.
Tom just...
Oh, he said BRB.
Oh, yeah,
like, became another person.
Yeah, it sounded like a weird, like,
I think he took off his headphones and, like, it was the playback coming through his audio or something.
I think he's gone full Davoo right now.
He pulled a pistachio disguisey on us.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, play the first voicemail, and then
we'll have to ask him when he gets back.
Wait, I just got... Hold on, is it... I'm confused. Is Tom maybe not continuing 2D AZUMI?
Wait, yeah, that's what I'm asking. Tom, are you listen, all I want is a yes or no question, or undecided. Are you continuing 2D AZUMI as a game, or are you just going to stop AZUMI until 3D happens? Or are you going to continue it, just kind of keep the consciousness, like the public consciousness aware of AZUMI, and maybe make like a side little 2D thing? And
I will be continuing it, if for no other reason than to continue using it as an exercise to get better at programming and stuff.
God bless, voicemails.
Okay, there you go. All right, first, let's check in with our quest as ever to find the Pizza Party podcast. Let's see what we've got. Message from...
I don't know. I think it might be a fool's errand by now.
It may be. Let's check in with...
I don't know if it'll ever happen.
Mozilla Fennekin has some update for us, so let's see what he's got.
You people make me sick to my fucking stomach.
Mm-hmm.
Although I actually am sick for unrelated reasons. You people are actually going to waste innocent lives on this stupid little quest to find this supposed podcast?
Mm-hmm.
I will sacrifice everyone.
You're the only person who's aware that this thing even exists. But since you don't know where it is, how do you even know it's real to begin with? Now, since you
I just
can't
have
prove
faith.
it's real,
it's based on faith.
do, right? You have to become the Pizza Party podcast, Ben. Think about it this way.
I can't. I don't have the glory.
Then the alleged real podcast
I don't have a
will get
pizza
upset and try to stop you.
Oh, that's
which
true.
Means they'll have to expose themselves to you, and you'll find them that way. Duh!
Huh.
Fair. Hey, you know what this reminds me of? Tim Pool just is filing like a lawsuit or something because he's got like his branded content or whatever. It was under like the heading Subverse, and like a week ago or 2 weeks ago, a porn like website group of developers launched a Kickstarter for a porn game called Subverse. And who knows if it's like intentional to like fuck with this guy? I mean, I don't know if they've had like some interaction in the past, or is it just a complete coincidence? And like the search results have completely crowded out Tim Pool. It smashed like a bunch of records on Kickstarter. It's got like $600,000 right now or something. And the term Subverse has been completely co-opted by this porn game.
Wait, what's the original Subverse?
It's like the website that Tim Pool does like for news or something.
Dumb.
Yeah, that's like the gist of it. It's like a
wait,
thing.
wait. Say that again. It's
okay.
It's the what website?
This guy Tim Pool is like an independent journalist. It's like his news YouTube channel, basically. That's it.
Gotcha.
So I don't know, like, so that it did trigger a response from Tim when this person made this other thing. So if we just go create branding.
Okay, I'll just have to start. You know, I'll just have to start doing a segment that is the Pizza Party Podcast, the only podcast called the Pizza Party Podcast on the internet. That's the selling point. And, I mean, I don't know what it'll be about. Like, pizza or something? Yeah, I don't fucking know. Like,
Your review types of pepperoni.
It's gonna be...
Dude, oh, you know what? First episode of the new and improved one and only Pizza Party Podcast, I will review Arlo's low-carb pizza crust recipe.
That's a good idea. And if that falls through...
I am uniquely qualified.
I can't wait.
If that falls through, you can always do like train, like railroad track reviews and go clickety-clack down the track. Okay, next up, we've got another Pizza Party Podcast related. This is from Hide the Podcast Robot. Okay, go.
Hello, Procrastinators. It is I, the Hide the Podcast Robot. I find it only fair that I inform you of the fact that you will never find the podcast. Me and my elite team of automatons will stop at nothing to obscure the location.
Boss, I found someone who is trying to say where the podcast is.
Kill them. That's like all we do. Why do you need to consult me on this?
Well, I thought, like, maybe...
Whatever you thought was wrong. Janice, this will come up in your next performance review. Leave. Well, PCP, I'm off to go suck the spines out of humans who know the location of the podcast. Goodbye.
Mozilla Fennekin, watch out.
God bless.
I like this comedy.
Yeah, you guys are good. Janice.
Godspeed. You're doing God's work.
There's going to be an absence of spines in the...
Man, maybe I better not find the podcast.
Yeah, that's true. We've got actual enemies to fight against now on our ongoing
quest. Fuck, I love my spine.
Well, I wouldn't say you
might
have much
say I'm
one.
kind of attached to
my
it.
spine. That's where I keep all my spine goo. That's where I keep my precious,
so delicious.
my precious.
They can take
fluids.
my spine. My spine's been broken for months, and I don't want it anymore. Fuck it.
They might be doing
okay.
Tom a favor.
Well, here's what I'll find the Pizza Party podcast. Then I'll convince them that you're me, and they'll suck your spine out.
That works out.
That sounds fair.
And then I'll be off scot free.
Let's do it.
Okay, we got another one. This is from Proud.
The great spine cape, we'll call it.
Okay, so here's our first real voicemail. It's Proud echo quotes Jew ham boy. So Proud ham boy. Let's see what this is about.
I thought it was odd that Ben was so focused on the plight of the Jewish people a few episodes ago, so I decided to do some investigative journalism. I hacked into patreon.com/Ben Saint and found a list of his top patrons. Gal Gadot, Jerry Seinfeld, Woody Allen. The list goes on. It's just as I expected.
My God.
Ben's gay liberal outrage was actually just a Zionist dog whistling. That explains everything.
We all suspect.
Well, shit, I could have told you that. All you had to do was ask.
Don't you have egg on your face? Okay.
That's some good journalism.
This is what happens when you don't brag about your accomplishments.
Journalism.
People just get confused as to what your true motives are.
Okay. We've got another mail from some engineer. Hope they engineered a good mail.
Hey, members of the PCP. Cheers from Colombia.
Cheers.
I wanted to develop an actual PCP bot that will be able to take some scripts and convert it into an actual audio file with your generated voices. If you're interested, you can share some of your clean audio with me, or maybe I could take it from some of your videos, but it will be 10 times easier if you could give me some of your audio files. I will leave my mail, or additionally, I could message you on Discord, although I don't use it that much. Additionally, I hope you're doing well.
Thanks.
And I hope
man.
the best for you. Sorry about that. Bye.
Blessings upon your family. Good sir.
Colombian engineer. Okay.
I'm not used to a genuine voicemail. Like there's no ridicule. There's no joke. It's just like, hey.
So this guy, normally it's exactly the sort of thing I hate, which is him asking me to do anything. But luckily, we've got a solution, which is the editor contest files that we produced, several episodes, I don't know, like 2 months ago now or something, that were in those episodes. You can just use those files, and that doesn't have every single member, but there's like 6 or 7 of us in those. So go grab those from a couple episodes ago. This requires no effort from us and all on you, which is exactly how I like it.
Would that be in the which episode would those
it's in the description. There's links to the editor contest stuff. So if he looks back at the go 5 or 6 episodes ago, and then maybe go back 1 or 2, you'll find it quickly. It's there somewhere. Maybe if I'm smart, I'll remember to put the link in the description, but probably not.
By the way, the editor contest is a thing that is still happening.
Yes, and that's true.
Votes have been tallied, and we are in the process of talking to other people.
Yep, that's correct. Everything's going swimmingly. It is progressing smoothly. We have actual ranks of people and stuff now, so expect to hear updates very soon, everybody. Keep your ears peeled. Okay, next one is from next one's from Fat Fuck Faggot. Okay, let's let's hear what this guy has for us.
What a villain.
Yo, this is Fat Fuck Faggot over here. Destroyer of weebs, smoker of weeds, we all for your TPC needs. So I ask Nate, amongst his peeps, it's the 2019s. Where the fuck is Geets?
I have been destroyed. It's in the pipeline. It's in the works. Please.
You called it though. You called it earlier, but I bet you never expected to be asked by this.
No.
By this towering model of a man.
Highly unprecedented to be asked about that. One of these days. just one of those days. Okay, I just put him in because he sounded.
That guy had a sick
he
flow.
Did. I respect him.
Yeah. I also just really love digitally altered low-pitched voices. They're really funny.
I agree completely.
I like that the only thing...
It's different. It's different from having like an actual baritone voice.
Yeah, sounds like Deep Throat or
The only thing you have to do to get
Deep
on the
Throat is the informant from the Watergate scandal.
In any way.
I'm sorry, say that again, Munchie.
Yeah.
The only thing you have to do to get on the voicemail is get your thing played. Just have a voice modulator.
Well, we've created
and then finish it with a kazoo solo.
We've
or
expanded the list
song.
of you have to end your song with the music. You have to voice modulate throughout. You have to I don't know, play a character. You have to zoom on or off the stage or whatever. There's.
Speaking of which, we haven't heard from Riddle My Ass Batman. Could his reign of terror have come to an end?
It's possible. It's possible. Let's check back in with him in a bit. But first, let's hear from Fabric Man, who's calling in to, I don't know, say some words, I guess.
Do something, yeah. Who knows?
Fabric Man speaking.
Yes.
I would just like to know, given how I created the PCP, when I can be let back on.
Right.
Well, Kevin, we got your portfolio. We got your interview.
Shut up,
opinions
Munchie.
on Fabric, maybe that'd be.
He's positive.
Oh no, is that it? Okay, he wants to hear about Fabric, and he wants to be invited back on the PCB, which he created.
Here's what I got to say about Fabric. It's dumb. It's dumb Fabric.
Don't care for it.
Oh, I remember. Oh, Hippo. You know what? I like you again.
For a moment there, you were my sworn enemy.
Yeah, but then you quoted Sweetie Belle, and I liked you again.
Wait, is that a Sweetie Belle quote?
Yeah, remember? Dumb fabric.
No, I don't, but that sounds good.
What? Is that the one with the dream? Is that the one with the bad dream?
No, it's an earlier than that. It's like season 2.
You guys don't even understand.
I don't remember that at all.
Dumb fabric.
She was trying to learn how to be like Rarity to get her cutie mark.
Oh, that was Sister Who's Social, wasn't it? Shit.
No, it was when they were trying to make a put on a show.
A show, okay.
And everyone got the wrong job.
Okay, so it was a CMC episode. Okay, I'm with you. Yeah. I'm with you.
Oh, and they had that terrible rock concert.
Dude, it was great. It was,
that was like the worst. That episode
it was
sucked
fantastic.
Balls.
Okay, apparently Scootaloo's voice actor, or Seiyu, apparently Scootaloo's Seiyu, recorded the song and sent to Hasbro, and they're like, "This is not bad enough singing. You have to do it worse. Please do it again."
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
Wait, okay, so that show has been dubbed in Japanese. I assume you mean her English voice actor, not her Japanese.
Yeah.
Okay, just checking.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know if there's another word other than Seiyu, so there's no. That's just the limit.
Remember how dope and squeaky fucking Sweetie Belle's
Squeedaloo.
Sweetie Belle's voice was? That was great. That was great work. Loved her. Okay, anyway, moving on.
Yeah, before she hit puberty and then she wasn't hot.
That's exactly right. Thanks for
I
clarifying.
wanted to say, which I was saying when I thought his voicemail ended, but no, he just was silent for no reason.
Yeah, that's correct.
We have your resume, Kevin. We're looking it over. You know, you have a great shot, so we'll let you know. The Yakuza might become canon real soon.
Ooh.
Your portfolio, frankly, blew us away.
Yeah. You are top contender. Trust me.
It was unbelievable.
Next voicemail is from an individual known only as Hap Birth. So let's see.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Homestuck.
Hey.
Happy birthday to you.
And
just in time.
More.
I'm having a birth babe, and the baby is you. Happy birth.
I can't wait until Hussey decides to remake Homestuck in HD.
Oh, yeah, that'll be exciting.
Homestuck remastered.
There won't be any pictures on screen. It'll be fully anti-aliased.
Yes.
I can't wait for that.
It'll be like when you play like a DS emulator, you can turn on like a setting that will like smooth out the pixel edges, and it looks really weird.
That's great.
It'll just be that. Yeah.
Okay, next voicemail is from What Do. Go.
Hey PCP.
Yo.
I've been trying to make content for years, but I delete everything right before it's finished out of sheer hatred for my own work. What do?
I know that
you have to stop. You have to stop picking these.
I have an idea.
Yeah.
I have an idea. Stop deleting it.
Okay, you know what you should do?
Yeah.
When you find yourself in this situation, okay, like I know the feeling of like completing a project like 90%, and then that last 10%, generally it like takes 90% of the effort or whatever. Like, just for the sake of the exercise, forget the quality, forget the art you're making. You have to learn this skill. Just finish it because you, like, swore on your father's grave with his samurai sword clenched in your hand that you would finish this project, and then release it, and just detach yourself from it being good or not. Finish it specifically to grind the skill of finishing something. Let that be your motivation.
Exactly, yeah. Nate, Ghost in the Shell, best anime ever, best man.
Correct. That's the thing. That's the thing. Literally do that.
It is definitely a skill to finish a project.
It is.
You are in the bad mental habit of deleting stuff, of working on stuff, not finishing it, and then deleting it, and you gotta break that. You gotta break that habit in your behavior.
If you're
you gotta practice a better way.
Some people worry that like their projects maybe they're like a little bit older than other people or something. They're like, oh man, like people younger than me, my contemporaries are already so good. Like if I start, just for example, like drawing now, it'll just be like embarrassing to release any of this like stuff now. You got to get over that. You have to get over that because if you're serious about it, you will improve rapidly, and
it's like
you got to generate
the first
that skill.
The first thing that you put out will be bad no matter what.
Yes,
but the 50th thing you put out might be good, and the 50th
so get there
thing
as fast
won't
as
happen
possible
unless you put out the first thing.
Exactly. Yeah. That's a great way.
It's like our boy Jake said, sucking at something's the first step to being sort of good at something.
Yep. Exactly. Yeah. That's the way. You got to break that mentality. Okay, that settles that. That's What Do. Thanks for the call. Next is Michael Reeves Theory.
I have PCP email like notifications turned on my phone, and I saw this and I was like, ooh, can't wait to hear that.
Well, let's get into it. Here we go.
Oh my fucking god, you guys, I think I found something pivotal, something extraordinary important today. On the podcast, Munchie mentioned some guy, right? Nobody knows about him. Michael Reeves, right?
No one knows.
No one knows.
The next day, he releases a video, right? It's called "If You Can't Drink Fast Enough, This Cup Tastes You." Great video, 10 out of 10. But something very important happens on exactly 51 seconds in of the video. Let's hear it.
I may have procrastinated just a little bit until...
Oh my god! He's a procrastinator! Oh my god! He is the member of procrastinators confirmed.
He's been outed.
We got him, boys. Entrapment successful. We've captured him.
I love the like he shows his evidence. He's like, oh my god, member of procrastinator confirmed. I like the voicemail's enthusiasm for it.
Yeah, it's great. I'm excited too.
This is confirmed, guys. We didn't want to have it be. We wanted to have more pop and circumstance, but we're unveiling it. Michael Reeves, official 10th member of the PCP.
Are we like 13th member now? Well, yeah, good enough, close enough. We did it, lads.
14th, 15th,
something like that. I've lost track. Welcome to the fold. Many. Good to have you in the family. Next up is the all-new gender-inclusive PCP. How exciting! Go.
All right. It's 2019, and I feel like it's high time the PCP expanded its spectrum a little bit. Introducing the all-new Gender-Inclusive Procrastinators podcast, with members like Best Person Ever, Hippo Switch, Munchie wears a variety of hats, Them Saint, Digifriend, Lethal Aurora Thage, Tommy Olivem,
Hey!
Endless Jess. Thank you for your contribution to the all-new Gender-Inclusive Procrastinators podcast.
Oh, it's good to be here. It's good to be here. I feel purified.
I didn't even understand the jokes of half of those.
I mean, Tommy, all of them, all genders,
from male
right?
to female, day in, day out.
Yeah.
We've eliminated the gender binary completely. It's antiquated, and to hell with it.
Now we'll stop alienating everyone. Oh wait, no, we said retarded and faggot in this episode.
Well,
fucked.
And that's 100% of our audience. Those two groups. Shit.
It's a work in progress,
Yeah, we'll work on it. Little baby steps, as Lord.
If we flip the switch completely, we wouldn't be we'd be ignoring the spectrum that we're trying to respect. So we have to ease into it slowly.
All right, here's what I want. If you're trans, press 1 in the comments. If you're gay, press 1 in the comments.
Mm-hmm.
If you're straight, unsubscribe. That's what I want.
This is our call to action for everyone.
Yeah.
Okay, next up is an urgent message to Munchlax. Let's go. Here we are.
I'm not going to like this.
Hello, procrastinators. As you can hear the water behind me, you will know that I've taken a vacation to Ponyland. I was deeply hurt by my message not being read on the last Procrastinators podcast.
Yeah.
However, I'll stand strong. And I'll stand strong in my message that you, Munchie, can, in fact, join the TCP, as you do meet the age requirements set in the TCP rulebook. It states that in order to become a member of the TCP of true Zoomer, you must be the age of the anime girls that Digibro whacks off to. And here's the thing I didn't realize. They are all actually 18 years of age.
That's right, baby.
That's pretty convenient for you. Pretty convenient for me. Please, spearhead our movement.
We're all in. We're all in.
Be the parkour dude to our Deagle Nation. In my path. Please, Munchie.
What do you think?
Send me a link, send me an invite, give me the address, I'll punch it in a map quest, and I'll fucking sprint to your location as soon as I hear the call. I am ready, I am willing, I am prepared to fight for the Zoomer cause. We are the new silent generation, but we shall be silent no longer.
Guys, drop the sandbags. Guys, drop the sandbags on them right now.
Go into preservation mode.
I love the TCP. It's so cute.
I know. Oh my god. Guys, let me in. We'll record a podcast. I'm not joking. We'll do it. You, whoever you are, Mr. Teen Man, Squeaky Voice Teen, we'll do it together. We're gonna have the Teen CP. It'll happen. Send me the Discord immediately, and I will
I'm so
join
glad that the
Munchie, I can't wait. You're gonna feel so old. You're gonna have a taste of what it's like to be us.
He's gonna come back.
You're gonna suffer as we have suffered.
Oh my god. Okay. All right. I will do at least 3 episodes of the Teen CP. At least 3, and then we'll renew our contract. I'm locked in now. Send me the Discord link right now.
Well, shit. It might just be you and him so far, but maybe you'll get to go.
That's fine. We'll get more members. We'll get more. It's fine.
Fantastic. Okay, and.
I don't like this arc.
I am worried.
I don't like where this is going.
Oh no, I like it a lot.
Well, I don't know if it'll be able to top that, but it's time once again, boys and girls, to check in with our old friend Riddle My Ass Batman.
No.
Once again.
No, he's back. His reign of
what
terror
he has for us.
continues.
Holy, I can't think of anything to say, Batman. I'm picking up the supplies now.
Supply.
I'm being generous, Batman. I'll say we'll give you an easy one this time. I don't take the easy mode in life, Riddler. Give me the hard one. Give me the straight hard mode, me, Riddler. Very well, Riddle My Ass. Very well, Batman. Yeah. Riddle My Ass, Batman. Pilot's Violet. She's kind on the PCP. Everyone says, please, interrupt me. Tell me, Batman, who is she? Wait, did you say she? Yes, Batman, I said she. But I thought the PCP was entirely composed of dudes. I don't know this one. 5 seconds left, Batman. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
No.
Cold Corona. Batman, I've been here the whole time in the furnace room. Batman, I made his life is in your hands. Minions, release her. Me. Mage is a girl?
No!
It's okay. I don't have a penis. Well, that was anticlimactic. What bullshit will happen next in a PCP? Fish. Tune in next time to find out. Same PCP time, same PCP channel.
Yeah!
God, Batman dropped the ball.
Batman really fucked up.
Batman's a fake fucking fan.
Fucking know-it-all Batman thinks he knows all the deep lore, that such as Mage is a girl, but no.
Batman, if you're so smart, what happened in PCP episode 75? What did we discuss? What did Munchie say in that episode? Question now, Batman. Tell me in comments.
That's what I thought, smart guy. You got nothing to say.
Yeah, bring out the fucking gun. Bring out the fucking gun. Shoot him in his eyes. Each one.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's it. Leave us your voicemails at the SpeakPipe link down below. Click on that and leave us your voicemails, because they're just getting better every time. So up your game.
Hey, Batman, sure hope you don't become blind as a bat. Bang, bang!
Oh, shit. Dead
has no eyes
anymore. The old bullet in each eye trick works every time.
Patreon.com/theprocrastinators. $5 for 24. That's 2 full years of bonus episodes. And $1 to join the Discord. Get in there. Support us. We'd appreciate it very much. More podcasts to come. Next week we'll be back with another one. More fun discussions about all your favorite things. How exciting. We'll see you next time, ladies and gentlemen. Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye. Yeah.